World Championship. Nice to here alongside Mirko, Yasu, and we are here to bring you the last best of 5 series between Geek Fam of Indonesia and Myanmar's Burmese Ghouls. Guys, how are we feeling after that first series? Now we're here for the second.
Well, the first series warmed us up, right? It was a 3-1. It was a dominant game. I think it's warming us up for the most part. All the analysts backstage, even most of the casters who are watching here, just as fans today, have predicted a 3-2.
Yasu, you think it's a 3-2?
I predicted it's a 3-2. It was so intense to me that I didn't even know whom to give that third point. So I'm looking forward to look for a full series.
Well, we'll see if we get that like they did yesterday. Now, before that, we do have to thank our sponsors. Of course, the M5 World Championship is powered by Moonton. It's presented by Qiddiya, supported by ROG, the official gaming phone. Grab the official Super App partner and Secret Lab, the official chair partner. Thank you to our lovely sponsors. And of course, M5 would not be possible without all your support.
Special shout outs as well to our global presenting partner, Qiddiya. What is Qiddiya? You may be asking. Qiddiya is a giga project, a city that is being built in Saudi Arabia, being the future capital of entertainment, sports, and culture.
Hopefully one day, you know, all of us get to go and see Qiddiya one day.
No. Okay, after M5.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's ready, right? But we'll have to see. Speaking of, again, we have to give a mention, of course, before the matchup gets started, both teams getting all is situated here. I think there's a lot of questions, too. Exactly what's going to happen here for Geek Fam, right? Even lineup-wise, right? Who is going to be playing for that roster there. But real quick, if you don't already know, everybody watching there or here at EVM, the ROG Phone 6 is M5's official gaming phone, and it packs the game-winning power of the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset with a class-leading GameCool 6 thermal system that lets you break every limit. It also comes with a spectacular 165Hz AMOLED display and a monster 6,000 megaamp battery life to power you through your gaming needs.
Check out both Geek and BG doing their ping test right now on your screen, man. I mean, it feels so smooth. It feels like they just connect to the phone, just like, it's like, how do I explain it? It's like you're moving your arm. That's how smooth it is, you know?
That's pretty smooth.
You can't explain how smooth it is, but you experience it and you're like, damn.
Darn.
I think that with these phones, your dreams can actually be true.
Your dreams can be true.
He's basically saying the Kimmy could come to play.
Basically.
On the ROG 6. And, you know, we never know. I mean, look at the...
Chidera got a kill on Fanny. He's a marksman player. Is this foreshadowing? Is he going to play the jungle?
Oh, speaking of, familiar face right there as well.
Dude.
Banjin getting a closer look once again at the ROG 6 phone. Now, as we got to see both teams getting prepped up and ready for this series, like we said, we already are wondering who exactly is all going to be playing into place for Geek Fam. But we have to talk about the headliner for this matchup, right? The fate of both of these teams. It was on basically I feel like everything fell into place with other teams.
Yeah.
Right? Leading into this stage, basically. So Geek Fam and the Burmese Ghouls, they both qualified for the KO stage thanks to the results pulled off by other teams in the groups.
Geek Fam, to get all the way to first place in the pool in their group, they had to hope for TOB to win against Homeboys, and that's exactly what happened. And same thing for Burmese Ghouls. They had to wait and see whether AP Brent can beat the other two, because if they did, Burmese Ghouls would make it, and that's what we're seeing it now. Finally, their fate are in their hands.
Oh, and also, who would have imagined that the opportunity given to Team Burmese Ghouls today is brought to them by their all-time rival.
Yeah, and not only that, but all of that falling into place here, the importance of squad depth. What does that mean, you might be asking? Well, if you're not familiar, again, this is in a time where we see teams have just very deep rosters, right? So who can actually optimize the team's potential here? Because if you're looking at it, right, there's been swaps from both of them. For example, you've seen Qiddiya, the goal laner, right, versus Shadow, now the XP laner, swapping in here for Nile and, of course, Carbon, respectively. And really, how is that going to play a part? For Shadow, I would say some of the play style that we've seen from Burmese Ghouls, especially early on in the group stage, has now developed into something different, right? It's a different flavor for the Burmese Ghouls, and the same can be said for Geek Fam.
Actually, I would say that Shadow was the virus needed for Team Little Gun to pull down the downloaders from Mongolia. And we have seen him play Glue, and also we have seen him play Uranus. And with both those heroes, he was able to zone the enemies away.
Well, speaking of zoning the enemies away, right? These guys right here, the roamers, they're the ones to help peel, to zone, and everything else. How do you guys feel about this ranking here? Beloyski going down a notch to number 5, and Blink X there, now at the 8th spot here, Mirko.
Despite me being the biggest Beloyski fan out there, right?
Yep.
I gotta agree for right now. If this was back in the healer meta when we're still seeing Rafaela's, Mathilda's being super prio, I would say Beloyski might be up there number 1 even. But the meta has shifted back to what it was before the whole photo meta.
Yeah.
What's a photo? Flask of the Oasis
Flask
meta,
of the Oasis.
right?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like that too, but hey, I love the fact that Blink X, a very underrated roamer, is now in that top 8.
Yeah, and not only that, but I feel like always when you're looking at the roam role in general for all these teams, they change the course of a game. A lot of the times, whether that's in the early, through the mid, to the late. So interesting to see how that kind of all falls into place here. And really, again, who is going to be in the jungle for Geek Fam? But before all that, all those questions, we have to welcome out our marshals to go ahead and officiate the M5 World Championship. We have our marshals making their way onto the stage. They're here to ensure the fairness and the integrity of their game. It's all we need to have the best environment for these players once again as they get prepped up and ready for the last series of the day. Now, it's time to welcome the teams navigating through the arena without their star jungle. Trust the Indonesian powerhouse Depth to adapt and prosper in this clash. Let's welcome Geek Fam.
Despite having to suffer a huge blow in the roster change, they're gonna have to prove to the world that Geek Fam is more than just a systematic team.
And across from them, witness the unbreakable spirit and unwavering determination of the warriors from Myanmar. It's the Burmese Ghouls.
After an interesting way to get here to the Philippines, and also after an interesting way to be here in the playoffs, will the Burmese Ghouls use this second chance?
Now to guide the teams to victory, we have their head coaches and the analysts for Geek, Erpang, and also for Burmese Ghouls, Lin Daddy and DJ. As the fist bumps come between the coaches, the analysts, the players here, once again, we can only contemplate so much on how these two teams will approach this battle ahead of them and who will proceed on into the upper bracket alongside the lower bracket. But let's take a look here at Geek Fam, Mirko.
Well, there you have it, right? For everybody who was wondering who's going to be the jungler for Geek Fam, it's been revealed. It's Marky taking on the jungle mantle from Nile, and Chidera moving in as the gold lane. A boy and Beloyski still staying as mid and roam respectively, and Luke obviously no changes there. Despite all the rumors, despite all the opinions of a lot of people, who's going to be in the jungle? Marky. All right, I think the biggest question is whether Marky can perform. I've never seen him play jungle.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't seen him
Maybe
play
in a
jungle.
different league.
Maybe in a different league.
Yeah.
But also across from them, Burmese Ghouls here, we've got Stitch, Nico, Shadow, Lena, and a Blink X. Again, one of the major swap-ups here. Shadow being a place of Carbon, and we know that it's changed some of the dynamic here, Yasu.
Yeah, it has been a really good addition for Team Burmese Ghouls, and I would say that Shadow is a really good XP laner when it comes to the duties, and actually he was one of the keys to victory for Team Burmese Ghouls. But again, when it comes to Nico and his utility heroes, he have shown us that he can also pull off a Nolan, so maybe we can expect some assassins coming from Nico.
And as we take a look here, you know, regardless of these assassin picks or anything, the head-to-head between these two teams, Geek Fam has done relatively well, right? They are the highest average kills in M5 so far, by the way. So, you know, how does that kind of play a part here against a team like the Burmese Ghouls, who they're a traditionally late-game centric team that likes to get to that part of the game, and then they pop off from there.
It's scary when you have the most kills because it tells you that you are a very active team, you're a very aggressive team, and you probably have one of the most deaths as well in this tournament because you look for fights. And the man you see on your screen right now, it's none other than Beloyski.
Yep.
One of the players who loves It sounds weird, but loves dying in game.
What?
He loves dying to bait out resources
Yeah.
for the rest of the team to find kills, and that is the sacrificial gameplay that we basically come accustomed to now when
Yeah.
we see Maloyski.
Oh.
It sounds weird, but it's great.
Wow. Well, speaking of great here, these are some great talent predictions, right? 3-2 across the board, but it's a little flippy-floppy there for Yasu. He's going for the Burmese Ghouls here. Any specific reason why, Yasu?
I told you, when it came to that last point, it was so hard for me. So I didn't make a prediction. Actually, it was a wish because I want to see Burmese Ghouls go up against AB Brain again.
That's a good wish.
That's a good wish, yeah. Totally agree with that. But, you know, even for me, as I went 3-2 for Burmese Ghouls alongside Mirko here, part of it was the fact that before this, when we did the predictions, we didn't know who was going in the jungle, right? So there's part of that. And the fact that that was kind of left up to chance, still, I think that even with that change and now knowing that Marky is going to be slotted into the jungle role, and, you know, you're still kind of left, I would say, even with game one, I've got to see how that's executed, right? How well does this fit with what we've seen from Geek Fam? Look at this. Look at the audience prediction here.
Nice support from the
94% from the Burmese, only 88% from the Indonesians. Perhaps the change in jungle, the uncertainty in the roster has flipped a few Indonesians' minds across, but all across the world, it seems like it's pretty even, actually, except for maybe Nepal, 86% to Geek Fam.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, relatively compared to a lot of the audience predictions that we've seen from around the world for these different teams battling it out, that was pretty much, you know, for the most part, even across the board. And I think, once again, that's a true statement is, you know, a lot of people are wondering, how would this work with the change up given the circumstances for Geek Fam, right? So, again, we'll all see it unfold in game one, but also in this match, do watch out for the TikTok drops. Watch M5 on TikTok for 5 minutes, and you can win one TikTok viewer chest. Watch for 20 minutes, and you might win the TikTok Deluxe chest. So good luck to everybody watching over there. We know there's plenty of you. And now, once again, as we wait for that first draft to be upon us here, we saw some pretty interesting things even from the previous series, right? Is this, do you think, Yasu, this is something for them to, either of these teams, pull something out like a niche pick or a cheese pick, whatever you want to call it, whatever you regard it as, like we saw their Hellcurt earlier?
We have also seen the Odette.
The Odette as well. How could I forget?
Look, I would actually say that both these teams and like the fact that we are here at the playoffs, they should play whatever they have been saving in their arsenal so far. At the wild card, we said that about some of the teams, and also in the group stage for survival reasons, we have said that for some of the teams. But now it is the time for you. If there was anything that you are hiding, this is the perfect place. This is the perfect timing to pull it off.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, you're considering the fact that, you know, you still technically have an extra life, if you will, right? You can go through that. If anything, I feel like that's why it called for what we saw earlier today with the first series between AP, Brandon, see you soon, right? There was actually confidence there, like we heard from the interview, that for the coaches to be like, if you want to try one of those heroes, go for it. You know, this is the time to kind of go with some of the experimentation or some of those comfort heroes that necessarily aren't the meta that we've seen so far, you know, that can end up working for them.
And that's why I'm very curious to see what Geek Fam want to play, right? Because you're talking about maybe picking comfort picks, going for the norm. What is the norm for Geek Fam now that we've seen this change? There's already such a big change in the lineup. I wonder if Marky is an assassin kind of player or a utility, right? He's a marksman, so technically he has that carry potential in him, the carry instinct. But maybe the safer route would be just to go utility.
Yeah, probably utility, but, you know, knowing the fact that Marky, he's from, you know,
he's the
solution, Philippines,
man.
He's the solution. Like, I would say one thing. He definitely, I feel like at this point you could play the assassins in the jungle if you wanted to, you know, go that route. But, and honestly, going against Burmese Ghouls, that might actually be warranted. It might actually be okay. Whether that's the Nolan, by the way, we've seen this first picked up so many times, parked in the jungle by so many teams. So if the draft ends up going that way and the Nolan is open, I could actually see Geek Fam going that route, right? Just go ahead, pick it up, put it in the hands of Marky, let them roll with it. But then I think that's where the importance is. How do we take care of this Nolan, right? Give him the best rotation early on to shine later and then go from there. Now, once again, too, utility, obviously still an option if they want to go that route.
Yeah, Utility has been dominating the meta for so long, and it is still one of the best choices that any team can actually do. But if I have a wish before the game starts, I wish to see Team Divo get a second chance to go up against Team
Geek Fam.
Geek Fam. Well, we'll see if that all happens as we jump into the draft here for game number 1. Burmese Ghouls going to be on the blue, Geek Fam on the red. Look at these bands already coming out, too. Oh, talking about the Nolan, he's going to be taken out of here.
What a start, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lilia band, instantly, the respect given to a boy, and even the respect given over to Luke.
Wow.
They know exactly what Geek Fam have been able to utilize so far in the group stages and even in MPL Indonesia Season 12 to find the momentum. Because, hey, Geek Fam, if there's a team that relies heavily on momentum, this is it. They are momentum. That's their name.
Momentum.
Geek Momentum Fam.
Geek Momentum Fam. 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 Well, there it is. 1-1.
The 1-1 ban. And as you said, they are momentum, and they actually perform so good when they have a really good aggressive early game, and that's what Geek Fam are, I'm not gonna say all about, but this is one of their strengths. So for Team Burmese Ghouls, actually, so far we haven't seen them win except for that one time in the group stage. So we haven't seen what can Team Burmese Ghouls actually bring up to the table, so I'm quite interested to see what do they have in their pockets today.
Man, speaking of, just this, I feel like Burmese Ghouls in itself has been a story, right?
Yeah.
Though everything they went through to get to M5 in the first place
Is a story.
yeah, and then everything that they went through in the group stage to end up here in the knockout stage, it's kind of crazy. Now, my biggest thing with that is, how have they adjusted to that? Like, what have they adapted to that whole scenario on almost to the point where they didn't make it here? And even seeing some of on their official channels, like some of the posts that they put out, right? So when you had to like recalibrate this mindset, like, okay, we're in the knockouts now, we're up against Geek Fam. Yeah, they had some changes, but let's come out with a win for this. Like, I feel like this is where you kind of clean the slate and you just approach this one game at a time for this series, right, for Burmese Ghouls. And I'd love to see how they decide to do that with this first pick. Now that we have the first phase done, there's still a lot of great options here, Yasu.
Yeah, we can actually see the Guinevere. We can also see a Valentina. But yeah, it is the Guinevere. We can see it here being picked up by Nico. He will go for the utility approach, or maybe we will see a change in these routes. We might see Guinevere go for a not gonna mid lane. Actually, she can go for a mid lane, but it's kind of, we haven't seen that so far. But she can be switched off to the roamer duties or even the XP. So far it's a flex pick, but for Team Geek, they can go for a Valentina, or I would say even a Faramis and a Bruno. A Faramis and a Bruno seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, sounds good. Faramis, Bruno especially though, because Chadera loves that Bruno.
Yeah.
If it isn't Bruno, if it isn't Brody, he does really struggle in lane. He wants to go for the bully type picks. And with the Bruno now and the Faramis locked in, those are two comfort picks. Those are two big boys. BBs.
BBs. Speaking of BBs, there's Uranus. So he's locked in. Valentina alongside that. This is one of those picks, man, that Uranus, there's a reason why he was so popular in the XP lane for the longest time.
Yeah.
Maybe fell off a little bit because now XP lane, let's be honest, a little bit flashy. Flashier now. Uranus is the opposite of flashy. Like, he's just a brick, basically. But still, very useful in a lot of these team lineups here.
And I can assure you that Shadow, especially using that Uranus, is gonna be so lethal to Team Geek Fam, because at some point when he was playing up against Team Lilgun, he was kind of controlling the whole map and also zoning the enemies by himself alone. And not to mention that the Valentina for Team Burmese Ghouls at this point can actually steal that Netherrealm or whatever comes next from the side of Team Geek Fam. So far, I can, even though Geek have a really good first draft, but Team Burmese Ghouls, I think there's a tie here for me.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
So far for the first phase, you feel
think
like
that's
it's
fair.
time? Yeah. I think, the bases are covered for this first phase for both teams.
Yeah.
You've got, at least for this, Burmese Ghouls, it's like, all right, well, what do we want to park in the gold lane? I think that's one of the biggest questions for me. Really, if they're trying to force that matchup that we've talked about extensively, the Bruno, the Brody, I mean, come on, we know statistically where that's going, right? But the theoretical win rate was basically 50-50. So if you are picking that up, you just got to be able to give it the best experience in that lane.
Looking at the way the Geek fam are drafting towards, right, the Fermis, the Bruno, the Baxia, they have a heavy emphasis on roaming around and also possibly just playing for the team fights front to back. Knowing this, honestly, it feels very Geek fam with Rafaela. It feels like that kind of Geek fam. MPLID Season 12 Geek fam.
Yeah.
And we did just see yesterday Ren and Jay pull off the Rafaela and win against Onyx in game number 4, I believe. Yeah, one of the games, but game number 4. So the fact now that they are banning out the Claw, they are banning out the Minotaur, it may be a Rafaela pick to support the Bruno even more. And heck, they already have a frontliner. They already have another HP bar. And Luke's probably going to get something like a Terizla.
If you didn't get to it, like before, I was actually about to call Rafaela for Team Geek Fam, because I think when you see the Paramis there and also the Rafa-Bruno combo seems so tempting, and after taking both Matilda and Angela out, it makes so much sense to give the Baxia even more heal and even more HP and make him so invincible. No one can actually touch him at a certain point. But Team Geek Fam, what other options do they have? And Team Burmese Gold, after the ban that I think they will go for more crowd control. Maybe a Tigreal at some point.
Nope, they take it away.
The other way.
Taken away.
No. No.
No.
No.
No.
No implosions. No more. Right? Geek Fam snatches that up.
That's a big ult, though.
It's a big ult, but you know what's scary is like this is getting to that lineup, you know, just the beefy lineup. Getting to that point. You got the Baxia, you got the Tigreal, you got the extra health bars like you mentioned, right? But really, what are they going to cap that out with here? Yasu, what are you thinking?
Add a Terizla on Geek Fam's side, and I am going with them with that draft.
Yeah.
Add just like one more crowd control, era crowd control. Terizla seems to be the missing piece for me. But for Team Burmese Ghouls, after banning the Digi, they should be the ones who take some crowd control. Ixia is a good match against Bruno, but...
That's great.
It's been a minute.
Right now, Geek Fam have a tough road up ahead if they want to dive to the back, right? They have the Baxia, the the Tigreal. Now they might have to think of something like a Benedetta or maybe even a Yu Zhong to dive onto that Ixia, because it's going to be real tough if the Ixia doesn't get bullied, doesn't get shut down in the lane.
Oh, this is a lot left up in the air here. The one thing too is, I always say, Ixia, glass cannon, right? You got to be able to utilize that full barrage. A lot of the times, the most aggressive players, you'll see them flicker forward, right? Once they pop that, and really that is great and all, but obviously you expose yourself, right? You put yourself up to getting taken out. There's the answer. The Yu Zhong is going to get picked up here. Another hero, like we mentioned in the previous series, that has kind of fallen off. You haven't seen it picked up so much, but it's still great in certain scenarios, and this is one of them.
Well, in a 1v1 battle, Ixia will win against a Bruno, but it's not a 1v1 game, it's a 5v5. So we will see the Yu Zhong actually take care of that Ixia, because she doesn't have mobility whatsoever. She have to use her flicker to get her to see her way out. But the thing that I actually really like about Burmese Ghouls draft is that Akai, because Akai can actually go in for this neutral objectives and use his heavy spin just to, I'm not going to say zone out Marky or Team Geek Fam generally, but to at least apply some crowd control to secure his retribution.
Well, with those in mind, let's get locked and ready to jump in the land of Dawn here. It's the last series of the day. Both teams are looking for their own form of redemption into this game number 1. It's Geek Fam versus Burmese Ghouls. Who will start out on top as they get us situated here? And once again, a lot of eyes going to be on Marky. How does he perform here on this utility pick for this first game? It is a Baxia, should work relatively well against a matchup that we've seen so much, right? The Baxia versus the Akai. And this might just come down to the execution factor for both teams leading into those objectives on who can allow their gold laners to shine further here.
I would say for me personally, what the most thing that I am curious about is the positioning of Marky, because he didn't get used to be in the front lanes. He was the one dealing the damage from back there. So Marky here, he is up for a really tough challenge, especially because we are here in the playoffs in the M5 World Championship. Nico is like on the counter, he's playing something that he's so comfortable with, but the only person I would say when you should take care of someone, and that someone for me is Shadow, because Shadow is really farming there.
Nico as well, level 4.
Wow.
Marky's doing a good job at catching up. Seems like Nico has a bit of a lead, but now I want to ask you guys, right? Burmese Ghouls definitely have an advantage coming into the first turtle, right?
Yeah,
Right.
for the most part, you know, especially depending on how they utilize the ultimates that they have. One great thing, even as we take a look preview here of these emblems, is the things falling into place, right? There's a whole lot of tenacity, by the way, that is going to be in favor of Burmese Ghouls, how they transfer through this game. A lot of penetration with ruptures as well, playing into that. Again, looking to get the upper hand on a lot of this. Now, the turtle's going to be up here, and that's what I was going to say. Nico with a heavy spin is always going to be a profitable ultimate, whether it's to secure yourself this, you know, retribution, zone certain people out if you need to. That's one of the biggest things, but already you can see both teams kind of getting in position for this battle.
Malloy going to be initiated on a spatial migration coming down as well. Malloy's 1 HP flickers out. The boy with another realm. Now they're looking forward to kill onto Nico, who pops in a heavy spin, already super low. Malloyski in the back, looking for the implosion, does get it down, but it's first blood still for the Burmese Ghouls. Marquis with the on-point retribution secures the neutral objective. 1 for 1.
1 for 1, but the same trade that we have been asking about in the last game. Again, I would choose to have that turtle, but look and take notice that Shadow was the one who got the kill, and also, as I told you, if he is free, and also if there's something that I can take into consideration here, is that there's no crowd control enough to hold this Uranus. Not just that, actually Burmese Ghouls, going back to the emblems point, I think that they are using the emblems in their favor to have a tanky approach in the early game, and this will actually help their formation.
Yeah, again, when you look at that fight unfold, right? Things can fall into place for Burmese Ghouls early on, but still a lot of this is going to rely on extending these fights, right, for Geek Fam. And that's why, again, you have this Fairness alongside the Tigreal to help you out with that. But, you know, Lena, his job is probably most of the time to get that Netherrealm himself, but there could also be some unique usage of using an implosion, right? Depending on how they decide to roll with that. Now, biggest issue, anytime you have an Akai on board or for a roster, is positioning. You don't want to actually knock people away in the wrong direction with a heavy spin either. So it's kind of, you know, a mini game in itself, being able to lock down the right targets here. But so far, so good. It's nothing, you know, crazy for either of these teams when you're talking about the lead as we wait up for the next objective here.
We will see that in the XP lane, there's,
Spatial migration into the Requiem. Baloyski going to fall for the second time in this game. Meanwhile, Chidera does some damage back on the Stitch, but we know how this XGO matchup plays out. Full barrage even committed down to poke Chidera even more under the turret, forcing a boy to rotate over towards that gold lane to maybe relieve off some pressure.
He wants to take the full gold of the turret. Stitch is now getting so much gold. But looking at Shadow, he cutted that lane, and now he can go and perform some danger.
Black Dragon form going to be used up. Nico still at full HP now with a heavy spin. Able to zone everybody away, but it's going to be still Nico who wins it out. Another realm onto another realm from both these teams. And it's both teams disengaging. No further follow-up, no further commitments. Chidera and Stitch are rotating over to the mid lane, though.
Okay, so equal on the turtles here, but Burmese Ghouls slowly but surely building up a lead, right? That's going to help them in favor. And with that, once again, the fact that Stitch has that early kill will be able to continue to kind of bully that lane a bit. You can even see gold-wise, right, he's very little ahead, but he's playing like he's further ahead. Now, can Geek Fam punish that and get, you know, Stitch behind a little bit here for Chidera? That's what they kind of have to work with. We've seen this work before. But so far, Burmese Ghouls doing a relatively good job on a low-action game so far, you know, 5.5 minutes in.
Geek Fam, on the other hand, I just saw that a boy took the Nicholas Endurance, so he can actually be using the anti-heal upon the Shadow and also the rest of the teammates. But I think that when it comes to the gold lane competition or like the matchup there, both of these marksmen need the steel leg dance because both of them are dealing damage just by the basic attacks. And so far I see them that both of them are going for a, I would say, an aggressive approach.
It's funny because this lineup kind of reminds me of not Nico.
Whoa.
About that, right? Beloyski is right here. Blinkx looking for the rotation. Chadera slide tackles out. Full barrage going to be committed down, but Marky jumps to the back now with the helmet. Another round. It's already a flicker from the side of Beloyski. He wanted to go for the implosion, but it's a good requiem to keep them at bay. Burmese Ghouls read out a great proactive maneuver.
So that's exactly what I was going to talk about, right? This is like the lineups that's reminiscent of the one we saw just the other day, where it's, you know, all these tanky heroes, these kind of, you know, finicky lineups where you initiate, the fight is extended, everybody's just, you know, slapping each other, and then no one dies, right, for the most part. That's kind of where we are until we get to the later portion of the game.
Oh.
For this.
Migration onto Marky. We're still holding on to the Poissons. Blinkx backing up. Shadow doing the same thing. Now pops the Consecration. Looking for another opening into this turtle pit. And it's going to be Nico who's brought back, shoved back, but that's the spatial migration into the Requiem. Nico, with the help of the heavy spin, picks up the Retribution. Marky pinned down to the wall. Beloyski looking for a big implosion, finds 3. The combo comes in as well. They're able to pull it off. A boy 1 HP lead versus the world finds them. And it's an all-out fight that actually Luke wins out in the end. It's a double kill for the Roamer, a double kill for the Geek XP later. Who won that one?
Oh, Yasu, who won that one? Turtle went to Burmese Ghouls, but there was bodies everywhere.
I think that at this point I would actually say that Geek Fam are the ones who won that team fight, taking 3 members down, having some of these shutdowns, and Team Geek Fam are just, like right now, I think that Team Geek Fam can actually split bush and use all their heroes, especially the Bruno. And also, there's a really good take here. I think that Luke is so free in his lane, 2-0-1, and also he manages to join that team fight on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, again, when you looked at that team fight kind of unfold, right?
Yeah.
Things just fell into place for the most part on both sides, but ultimately it was an extended team fight because of that interaction between, you know, Lina and, of course, Aboy, and how they play around with these nether realms and everything else. And also setup potential-wise, right? It's great. Blink.
Requiem from that spatial migration. A good nether realm. And Beloy finds an implosion. No follow-up, though. It's Beloy pinned down under the turret. And what looked to be a great play from Geek Fam ends up in disaster.
Luke.
Maybe not just yet. Luke diving to the back, a bit too deep. Whoa, what? Luke just dove and died.
Maybe that's not the Yu Zhang we know, right? I mean, made a beeline for the back line and ends up getting punished. So right now, Geek Fam has to respond to this momentum that Burmese Ghouls is going to throw at them here in the mid lane. Full barrage.
Zoning them away. A boy respecting the damage will fall back and give over to tier 1 in the mid lane to Burmese Ghouls.
I think that at some point Blank is the one who's really doing the final touches for Team Burmese Ghouls, even though at some point I would actually say that Burmese Ghouls, after they took the turtle and also the team fight, they were winning. But again, we have seen these individual movements from Blink and his positioning, but there's a conceal here and they might just go for the team fight and not that Lord.
Uh-oh, Marky's low, half HP. Beloyski finds an implosion, but no one's there to follow it up. The Furious Time, but it's a bit late right now. Is Nico still going to be able to find a heavy spin onto the back? Marky's zoned away. Nico, he has all the right to win the fight. Beloy,
what?
On top of it all, how does he get the Lord?
Well, he's Beloy, but at that point, again, was it worth it, that whole exchange here, Yasu?
Well, I'm just caught up in this moment by how did Tigreal actually take it. I didn't see any skills from the Tigreal when he took the Lord, but again, at some point, maybe the rumors forget that they are rumors, and this time it's the time to take some neutral objectives, not just kills.
I don't know, man. Something about that shield and the hammer right there.
Bro, Beloy got it with first, he just popped the hammer down and died. He literally sacrificed himself for the Lord.
Tigreal's had enough. He's like, it's my time to shine.
What the heck?
Oh.
Right?
BBB.
Does he have a flicker? Oh.
Big boy Beloy.
Big boy Beloy.
Big boy Beloy.
Beloyski.
That was a play and a half right there, and now they're going to play around with this Lord going down the bottom side. Geek Fam getting in position here. Burmese Ghouls, yes, they're in the lead, but is it even enough? Beloyski using the conceal on the backside.
Oh.
Pops in the consecration, Beloy with a explosion, but it's going to be cancelled out almost instantaneously by Nico. The Netherrealm grants him another HP bar, but the full barrage takes him out. Luke in the back as well, not able to melt him just as fast, and it's Nico with an amazing cover to save his gold lane and to win out on the fight.
2 times in a row, Luke and Beloyski, both of them go down, even though the engage at some point almost was perfect. But again, Beloyski is being stopped over and over again by Nico. And looking here at the map, at the mini-map itself, I think that even though the goal lead is for Burmese Ghouls, Geek Fam are the ones who are winning when it comes to macro.
Okay, it's interesting how everything's kind of falling into place here, right? Burmese Ghouls, even with the lead they have, Geek Fam somehow pulling things through. Beloyski also, you know, this is one of the things about the Tigreal. You kind of trying to force some of these situations out. Quite tanky himself, but really that's kind of one of the new nuisances, I guess, playing against the Tigreal, is the setup potential. Whether he has the flicker available with the implosion or not, he's still just this front line brick. Not only that, but he can also take the Lord when you're not expecting it. Now, I still think, too, going back to it, if you're waiting for this next objective, 30 seconds away here, Geek Fam actually has to utilize the fact that they have this lineup, extend the fight, but not get pushed away. If you notice, too, exactly what we expected from Nico, right? Having the heavy spin, they're trying to force Marky out of this situation. So once again, Conceal going to be used. Do they commit all this? 10 seconds now for the Lord. A lot of action here on the top side of the map.
Shadows trying to follow Luke in the back. Blink axe already with a conceal. Luke going to be knocked up by the spatial migration in the Netherrealm from a boy. Grants him another HP bar, but he will still lose his life. It's Blink axe who picks up the kill. The roamer with the most kills in the game for his team.
Well, not having Luke at this specific moment is not actually looking anywhere the word good for Team Geek Fam, because the Lord is up and they will miss that zoning and also that the crowd control coming from the experience by Blink.
Okay, he's taking a brunt of the damage.
Yeah.
But he's going to be fine. Shadow now, too, spotting them out.
Oh, to the back, getting everybody low. But implosion is even bigger. There's no one to follow it up. Beloyski has made big plays, but that's just him alone.
Man, that's tough to see. A great implosion, but no follow-up. Unfortunately for Beloy and the Geek Fam, now they're going to have to play the tune of Burmese Ghouls as they take the Lord and get ready to march towards the base of Geek Fam with a great lead of 6K here.
Shadow brought back, Shadow Stampede. Shadow's 1 HP, gets out. Lena pops in the Netherrealm that he stole away from a boy. And the Burmese Ghouls look for a siege.
The next engage is gonna be so intense between both these teams because both of them actually have, Luke!
Flies out.
It's a good looking skin there.
It actually is.
Get that preview.
Yeah.
That is a dope skin.
Can they defend? This Lord's gonna be made quick work of, but Stitch, man. All Stitch has to do is lay down a full barrage and you have Geek Fam running for the hills. So what is the answer? Beloyski should be fine, gets out of there. The base still going to be worked on, though, for Burmese Ghouls. Again, a 7,000 gold ahead. It's getting dire for Geek Fam. Yasu, what do they have to do? Where's the saving grace for Geek Fam?
I have the answer for you. Geek Fam have to know the potential of their crowd control, their area crowd control heroes, because when it comes to setup for Team Geek Fam, they are much more better than Burmese Ghouls. As much as Stitch needs this area crowd control heroes, he only have Blankex and maybe Nico. But on the other hand, you have Beloyski with the flicker ultimates. Also, you have Luke to reach the back line and to force that flicker out of Team Burmese Ghouls. So just buy more time, make good setups, one play, and everything will go really great for Team Geek Fam.
They're looking for more. Black Dragon form onto the back, Blink X uses the Requiem just to disengage. Beloyski's still looking for it. Stitch is going to be rounded down by Luke and Beloy. Furious dive to the back. Stitch is going to be CC'd down, and that's a shutdown picked up by Marky. A boy found Shadow. 2-for-0 to Geek. Spatial migration. Knocking Marky up into another realm from a boy. Once again, to help him dive this time around.
Okay, a little bit of a redemption there for Luke as well to find Stitch, put the pressure. They followed up on it. Now they make their way down the mid. They get 2 turrets. Jadera's damage has to be respected here as well. Still going to be working on it, but Geek Fam bites and fights back.
15 seconds on stage. They can actually go for the end. One straight push is what they're looking for. 9 seconds going in. Spatial migration connecting on to 3 members. Requiem as well. Avoiding to be taken low. Still able to back away. Beloyski losing the immortality. Geek Fam have to pull out, and they do. All their members low except for Marky and Luke. That was dangerous, but they took the risk.
If they stayed, man, 1 full barrage could have possibly annihilated them. Better that they go back. They get the base turret in the mid lane. That's great for the Geek Fam. Burmese Ghouls, how do they recoup from here? Itemization-wise, too. Things fall into place for both teams now, and then we're just seconds away from this Lord.
I hate to say it, but I told you that it will need 1 flicker ult from that Tigreal to flip everything around and make Team Geek Fam come back to the game and come back to the calculations. We have seen that happen, we have seen that being executed, and now losing the inhibitor turret. And on the other hand, Geek Fam, even though they were pressured, they haven't lost any inhibitor turrets so far. So we will see together what will happen for Team Burmese Ghouls. But again, this lore dance might take so long because both of these teams are waiting to set up a really good composition.
Okay, half health on the Lord. We'll see if either teams commit to it. Both junglers holding it together. Marky, though, half health himself. Immortality for Nico, so has a little bit of an upper hand. NetherRealm also will come in clutch here. Geek Fam, how they approach it. Shadow,
Stampede. Oh, that's a lot of damage, Naisu.
Beloyski is taking all the way back. Look at Beloyski, what he's doing.
He's looking for the biggest flank of his life is what he's doing. This might be the big break play. If he finds Stitch, it's going to be over. Has found it, but Nico finds the entry. It's a 2v4 in the back. Luke gets a petrify, and Geek Fam now collapse with the help of the NetherRealm. Chidera dealing the damage, and now it's a full barrage from Stitch to turn it around once again. Chidera outplaying for a bit. Lina finds a killing spree despite the big play from Beloy. It's the Burmese Ghouls who take it a long way around. Now knocking Luke up. A complete wipeout for the Burmese Ghouls.
Despite a big brain play from Beloyski, it doesn't matter, says the Burmese Ghouls, as they punish Geek Fam in a turn of events, and now with a lead will make their way to the top side. Can Geek Fam get back in time?
If it weren't for the wave management, Team Burmese Ghouls actually could have won that game with just taking that team fight, but now everyone will be back in time to make that defense once again. Team Geek Fam can actually make this defense work, because not just the damage, but also having the NetherRealm, and not just the NetherRealm, also having these ultimates coming from the Tigreal and the zoning coming from the Yusong.
Well, Lord makes its way down the bottom here. Geek Fam gonna have to defend their lives out for this one. Nico staying up at the top side. Mid turret gonna be worked on here. Geek Fam still, can they stay in the game? Time after time, Beloyski finds these setups, but there just hasn't been a follow-up just yet. So they lose the top turret, the bottom. Burmese Ghouls setting their sights on that mid. If they still put the pressure, they're still respecting the fact that Geek Fam has some setup potential and can turn things around, but here they go.
Once again, spatial migration by Blinkax into a full barrage. A good NetherRealm grants up some safety. Marky in the back line going on the stage, but it's a NetherRealm as well for the side of Lina. As Luke gets pinned down by the heavy spin. Chidera still able to find Shadow. Chidera free hitting. It's Chidera all the way now looking for some damage. Blinkax is low, and Geek Fam has turned the tides again in the 19th minute of the game. It's pull and tug, and the Burmese Ghouls are running for the hills. Marky, shield unity onto Nico with the help of Luke. It's a 2v1 against the Kung Fu Panda. Furious dive with another big dragon tail spin. Nico, super tanky. Luke is just trying to stagger as much as possible, and Nico will finally lose his immortality with one more dragon tail and Furious dive. The mortality popped. They're looking for the mid lane.
Marky.
This might be a one straight push from the mid lane as Blinkax is able to find a good Requiem onto 3 members. Lina gets a Terrify back, NetherRealm once again. Blinkax will be taken down. Explosion and a flicker. Geek Fam, they brawled their way into a win. They did not just go for the big brain plays. They went for the big brawl plays.
A turnaround again and again and again on the plays of Boloyski and the rest of the team. Geek Fam turns it around, takes game one.
What the hell was that? What a performance! What a weird brawl game!
That was the better setup and that was the better execution. That was the use of the mistakes of your enemies. Team Geek Fam, once they found one little tiny mistake, that was all what it took to flip everything around upon the Burmese Ghouls.
Man, you got to give it up once again. Consistency there for Boloyski. How many times did the man find setups with the perfect implosions? Sometimes, the first couple times, there was no follow-up. He was left to himself. A great one leading into that Lord, and then eventually it all falls into place. They won that game even with nearly a 4K deficit in gold. Again, insane performance there for Geek Fam.
Stunning. Stunning.
I
don't have any words.
Who is the MVP here? It's got to be Boloyski.
It's got to be Boloyski, man.
It has to be.
It has to be. Despite the KD, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
He's
Hey.
oh,
We know
he
it's
knows.
you! We know it's you, Beloy! Is it not you? It's
There it
you!
is.
1, 8, and 6 KDA! Doesn't matter!
It doesn't matter. We learned it yesterday, and it happened here. BBB, the big brain
boy.
Boloyski.
In this case, he was a big boy.
He was.
Yeah. Big boy, big brain, BBB. You can call it whatever you want, but you cannot call this performance forgettable. Boloyski with 186 with a KDA that I couldn't have imagined that one day will be an MVP for a game in a World Championship. But yeah, here everything comes, every dream comes true. And here we can see the amount of effort done by Team Geek Fam, but yet the execution from Blank was really on point when he tied that team fight up. And here Boloyski taking that Lord and flipping everything around, even though there was 2 retributions, 1 Tigreal with 1 first kill, was able to take it down.
This was the biggest ult play I've ever seen in my life. He stunned all 10 players.
It's one of those moments where you're like, darn, there's no follow-up, you know? It looks amazing, but he did it time and time again, and I think that's the point here, especially the deserving of the MVP. Working back from fights like this against Burmese Ghouls, like it's intense, right? It was a pendulum between this game alone, how it went back and forth, back and forth. Stitch had a massive game here, and I gotta say, even for Luke, man, Luke, he had some questionable initiations, right? Let's be honest. But there was moments there where he actually zeroed in on Stitch, focused and put the pressure where he had to, and things like this happened because of moments like that, right? They were able to turn things around, even with this as the game-winning moment for them. It all pushed in and pulled in through.
Well, Stitch with the full barrage. He couldn't do anything where no one was held down into his ultimate, and that's why I told you they needed more crowd control, but yet they were able to execute their draft in a really good way. Team Burmese Ghouls, even though the statistics here and the numbers can be in their favor, yet Team Geek Fam were the one who won with gold difference in their favor, 3K gold difference. But when it comes to late game, actually these gold differences don't actually matter. But again, it is a gold difference, yet they are the one who lost. It is a difference also in terms of the kills, but yet again they are the ones who lost. Kadera here, using his Purify, was able to escape Nico and also to escape Blank multiple times. And not just that, he went for a full damage approach, which means that he was trusting his teammates with his life that they can front the damage, that they can keep everyone away from his way just to deal the damage needed. And not just that, we have seen Boloyski, even though he made one of the most clever gameplays or a flicker ultimate coming from the backline, there wasn't a really good communication between his teammate and him, but yet if there was a good communication, this will be one of the best, if not the best, moments so far in this tournament. Rich Guy 751, we have seen a lot more than that in this series and today, but the Sandbag Shadow with 230k damage taken.
Yep, typical, right, for Uranus players there. But I gotta say, too, this is kind of what we talked about with the lineup going into the game. The fact that you have this very tanky lineup and then both gold laners need to shine. That's why we saw the rich guy and the carry for both teams respectively really kind of try to outdo each other. They had great games, right, on the backs of a lot of what was set up by their roamers, by their XP laners, and also even for a boy, man, he had clutch Nether Realms in some of these situations, able to extend some of these fights, allow things to be set up properly there, and allow Chidera to even just pop off on the Bruno here. So again, when you look at it, you try to dissect that game one, even despite the lead that Burmese Ghouls had, things fell into place where they had to, right, for both teams. Again, we call it the pendulum here. It was back and forth. Teams were being won on both sides, but ultimately, again, one side has to win, and this time it's Geek Fam. It's a very interesting game one if you look at it.
Yeah.
Who knows what we're going to see in game two?
Well, if I have a saying in here for Team Burmese Ghouls, the only thing that I would actually change is applying more crowd control. If you have a hero like an Ixia that you want to deal damage on a huge area. So if I added one more crowd control for Team Burmese Ghouls, this game would have actually took a different approach.
So just CC?
Yeah, I want to see more CC. If there was a Minotaur, actually I like the fact that they used the Akai and to flip everything around and to make the Guinevere on the room, but I didn't actually quite like rooming Guinevere.
I don't know. Personally, for me, I feel like they already had enough CC. Valentina, there's a Guinevere and an Akai.
All right.
I personally feel like it was just a throw. Was it not? The execution, right? To a certain point, they were just gambling on their leads.
I was going to say, I feel like at one point when you're knocking on the base of Geek Fam, you're confident that you have this big lead. It was 7,000 at one point, right?
Yeah.
When they were actually on the front door steps of Geek Fam. And unfortunately, that's the thing about this game is like, even with a lead of 7 to 9, we've even said 10K gold leads get turned around, flipped around, right? So in this case, I want to say, like, Burmese Ghouls, it's great to see them. They're looking better than what we saw on the group stage, right? But still, when you have that lead, you still got to stay in the game, right? You still got to keep things together, and that's why you see some of the best, some of the best teams out there from around the world when they have a 10,000, 14,000 gold lead. Sometimes some people are like, man, why don't they just finish the game? Well, they know that there are some instances where it might get flipped around. So again, we can only talk so much about game one, but before we head to game two, we do want to go ahead and mention that the December Starlight is officially available. For only 300 diamonds, you can get the exclusive Starlight skin, Arlot's Fury of the Deep. Upgrade your Starlight level to unlock the painted skin, Arlot Scorn of the Deep. In addition, all Starlight members only need to spend an additional 100 diamonds to unlock the bonus December Starlight painted skin, Arlot Ire of Deep. That's a whole lot of Arlot, so all you Arlot mains, get on it, right? The special Starlight perk is at it. The perks end at the end of 2023, which is just, weeks away. So don't miss the beautiful, bountiful rewards. Thanks for your continued support. Don't forget the hashtags as well. Hashtag Mobile Legends Bang Bang, hashtag MLBB New Skin. And it's for Arlot, so I'm sure a lot of people will be happy.
Yeah, I'm not an Arlot player myself, but I love the 11-11-1-1 skin, man.
That's true.
Oh, 1-1.
You're a 1-1 main, so.
You're a Gord main. What's the last skin that you got, dude? It's been a while.
I have all the Gord skins, so I don't get skins.
But do you want to see more skins for Gord?
That's a good question, Yasu. I'm pretty happy, to be honest.
All right.
I'm pretty happy with the skins, man. Sometimes I can't decide between the Legend or the Player one. I forgot what they're called. The Starlight.
Oh yeah.
They're too good.
It's really good.
They're both really good.
But this was your moment to ask for one more skin, but you just missed it.
Well,
make a nice Gord skin, please.
Nice Gord skin would be great.
Nice
also,
Gord skin. Just him surfing.
Yes.
That works too. Nice tuna. That could work.
That can work.
That could work. But also, real quick, some more here. In this match, do watch out for the TikTok drops. We talked about this earlier. Everyone, you have to just watch the M5 on TikTok for 5 minutes. That's all it takes, and you can win a TikTok viewer chest. But if you want to watch more, you can watch for 20 minutes, and you might win a TikTok deluxe chest.
Wait, you mean if I watch M5 on TikTok for 5 minutes, I can get drops, and 20 minutes I can get deluxe drops?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, 20 minutes is like a...
It's not even a game.
It's a pregame.
It's pregame.
Yeah, it's not even a game.
No.
Just like...
Well, it depends, right?
Well, I was going to say, some
Yeah.
games are like 11. We've seen some 11-minute
Yeah,
games.
yeah,
Yasu.
true.
You know, so definitely go ahead, and we got a ton of stuff for you guys, so make sure you get it. Again, M5 pass as well. We got to finally see the Yuzhong, by the way. Great
And
to
it
see
won.
that. And yeah, it won. I was like, for a second, I was like, oh yeah, they
Yeah.
did win, right? So that's great. But also, speaking of great, better than great, Beloyski's mentality. I don't care whoever is our opponent. We must be confident, even if it's the strongest or the weakest team. And that's from Beloyski himself.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Beloyski's mentality, I think he's been tested time and time again for his entire career, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he keeps on fighting, he keeps on having that determination, the hunger as, I would say, a veteran.
Yeah.
A veteran of Mobile Legends Bang Bang, of the professional league. I just have so much respect for this guy.
Let me ask you this real quick. Beloyski mentality or the Bomba mentality?
Oh. They kind of have the same mentality, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe his name could be Bomba Beloy. Some other
That could
time.
work.
You know, or Kid Bomba could be, maybe Kid Bomba is Kid Bomba. Beloyski is Adult Bomba.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, who knows?
Balomba.
Maybe they end up going against each other at some point, depending on things falling into place.
Imagine they
That's
meet
my
in the
wish.
grand finals.
That's your wish.
Yes.
Imagine.
I'm imagining.
They
Grand
meet
finals?
In the grand finals.
Wow.
That would be a storyline, man. Group D would then solidify itself as the best group.
After
Yeah.
being in a group of death.
Yeah, group of death, and then
And-
all the way to finals.
Didn't we hear from interview, like, I'm not 100% sure if this came from Kid Bomba, but the problem versus the solution.
You're right.
Wow.
Bomba is a problem. Marquis the solution.
solution.
He is the Marquis.
The marquee.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And speaking of fun facts, you actually said one of those fun facts about Beloyski himself. He said that the more he dies, the better he performs.
I told you, man.
186.
He's always waiting for like a power spike. And
Yeah.
for Beloy, I don't know why it's 6 deaths or 7 deaths. That's a
There's a
7
certain
death power
number.
spike. Yeah. So he needs to get to that threshold, you know? He stacks up his deaths.
Yeah, then the power level goes through the roof, right?
And then the brain becomes big.
By that time, it's done. As you would say, bada bing, bada boom.
Boom, bang, bada bing.
Boom, bang, bada bing.
Shout out
Bada,
Ghani.
bada, boom.
Shout out to Ghani. By the way, player head-to-head here as we talk about Beloyski and Blink X. These guys across from each other in terms of statistics, right? You're going to see a lot here for Beloyski. Now, for Blink X, on the other hand, I feel like in a way, I'm still going to say this, like their play style now, and off the fact that, you know, Blink X has had to step up a little bit more, especially against some of these roamers that he's against. We saw that breakdown. But overall, Burmese Ghouls, I like the way that they're playing right now in comparison to what we saw previously, right? I feel like the time that they had to worry about even making it to the knockouts with everything falling in place from these other teams, like they have refined some of the strategy, even with the change of putting Shadow in, right? I like what they've shown us. It's just that's the thing. I think they have to stay focused when they have that type of lead knocking on the base of their opponents. So, again, we'll see if they're able to replicate at least how they performed the previous game, but cap this one in to even the series out 1-1 as we load up into the draft here for game 2. We'll see where things fall into place. We've got Geek Fam on the blue, Burmese Ghouls on the red. Bans, though, already coming out. The Khalid, still respected. Nolan as well.
Well, before we get in depth into the draft, I have a question for you, Mirko. Would you say, when it comes to the jungle, did Marquis do enough for Geek fans to be assured that their jungle is in good hands?
I mean, when it comes to the Red Tree battles, it's kind of weird to blame him in a matchup against an Akai, right?
All right.
I think the jungle is in good hands for now. With that Bakshak game, I think he proved a lot of people that, hey, I can stand toe-to-toe against the best. And currently he's standing toe-to-toe against Nico. A pretty good jungler himself, right? I mean, hey, in the group stages, winning against a Lil Gun, and then having some solid performances against the other teams as well.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how they develop. Because though I would say it's very okay for him to be the jungler for the team,
Yeah.
it feels like they still lack that synergy. The miscommunication was
Yeah.
very clear. There was very clear errors going around in that department. That's nice.
That is nice.
The pick,
right?
the bans.
the bands, the picks are coming through.
Everything is nice. We have nice Su also.
Thank you.
So getting into the banning phase here, the first banning phase, we can see that they have respected Shadow's Uranus. So that sends a message for me at least. And looking here, no flying allowed. This is a no flying area in Isu.
Yeah, they don't like the Matilda. They don't want
They're
to deal
ghouls, man. They can't handle it when people fly by.
Yeah. Ghouls
That's
don't
why they
like
couldn't
it.
handle the Yuzong.
Oh, that's true. Well, you know, again, I'm glad to see the Yusong will pop up. I still think it's very niche currently. Like, you got to be able to. It's picked for a certain purpose, whereas, you know, back even in M4, we saw it picked nearly every other game pop up here. So there's the Joy Band. We'll see once again what the priority is for Geek Fam now that they're on the first pick here. A lot of options.
As always, a Guinevere. At some point, actually, look, this actually reminds me of the Fredrin, when the Fredrin was in his prime.
Yeah.
Like,
So Guinevere's the new Fredrin.
yeah, for me, the Guinevere is the new Fredrin.
I like Guinevere more.
Yeah, yeah. Do you?
Oh.
I guess Geek Fam don't.
They don't.
Alright.
They like the Bruno more.
94% contention rates.
Lilia. Okay.
That's a really good pick here. Actually, Team Geek Fam are the ones who played Lilia for 4 times out of 7 when it came to the group stage. But also, Team Burmese Ghouls on their end, I haven't seen them play Lilia so far. It's a really interesting pick for me.
Interesting pick, but I think it serves its purpose, right? Not only that, but now Burmese Ghouls have the Guinevere. They're going to go ahead and play around that once again. And I feel like Lilia is also a good choice because then, you know, you provide a lot of that even early damage potential. But across from you, Geek Fam picking up the Valentina, a hero that has been in constant, I feel like, still debate if it's worth sometimes that first pick or, you know, of course in the first phase it's great, but now how does that play apart? Glue, a hero we don't see often picked up.
But we have seen him being played by Shadow, so this is the second time we see Shadow plays Glue, and after seeing Glue, you should expect to see a Faramis in the ban list. Oh, I don't think that they will take a Faramis though, Team Geek Fam, because they already have the Valentina. But speaking of the draft that we have so far, not just like the expectations that we will see on the ban list, I think that having the Lilia here for Team Burmese Ghouls actually serves a really good purpose, and that's Bruno being tied and being slowed down to the limit that he cannot actually survive without using a flicker at some point. So far, I would say that I actually kind of like Burmese Ghouls' first phase of drafting more.
Yeah, I like Geek Fams more, a bit more, because right now they're already nailing down in the gold lane department, and for Burmese Ghouls, right, this Lilia can't be the sole damage dealer. They need someone who can actually stand toe-to-toe against the Bruno. If they, let's say the Ixia here gets banned out, right, already banned out, they ban out the Claude as well, that is going to be really tough. What do they want to go for? They go for the Brody. We know that matchup.
Yep.
We know how, well, statistically, how bad it is.
Statistics.
It's weird because it's like, okay, they say it's 80% the Bruno, but theoretical, it's 50-50.
And
you know.
Super Marco kind of played with those numbers.
Yeah.
But he's Super Marco,
He's
you know?
Super Marco.
He has super in his name, so it's like already, he's different, man.
Like the Brody is a good choice if really your game plan is, okay, we want to play from a distance, want to get the marks off. The problem with it is you know, you're working against a Valentina, you're working against a lot of probably usage once again with a Kai, like heavy spin, sandwich plays, playing under the turret, things like that. You know, Brody, you got to be able to move around really well and then be protected, right? The problem with that is there's the Minotaur ban, so relatively your options for gold lane are pretty small. We might see a Claude here though, if they actually decide to go that route.
Yeah, I think a Claude will make a lot of sense here, but also we might see a Tigreal since Team Burmese Ghouls actually banned a Diggy. So maybe we'll see a Tigreal, maybe even not a Terizla, maybe a Terizla on the side of Team Geek Fam.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's so tough right now for Burmese Ghouls, because if they pick up a Claude, there's going to be 2 losing lanes, right? They've already revealed the Glue. They'll pick up a Claude into the Bruno matchup. That's what they do anyways, because Claude is the safest pick here. If you go Beatrix, you get bullied even harder.
Yeah.
And now Geek Fam can close out their draft with a Terizla, which is going to be great. And for the Roamer, that's the question I have. Do they want to go for something like a Rafaela? Technically, against this kind of team, if you are able to outmaneuver and heal, and just bait out the skills, you're going to be good.
Yeah. That's why I think, Claude's a great, like when there's nothing left on the table, part of it's like, okay, at least Claude has BMI. So you can at least try to juke things out, right? Bait some of these ultimates, survive the best you can. But if you pair it up with a roam, like you mentioned, whether that be the Rafaela or not, it kind of adds to that survivability, right? So we'll see exactly what they're planning, but that's interesting. The Arla and the Lapu Lapu pickup for Geek fam.
Huh. Heavy emphasis on anti-CC, bro.
Yeah.
For me, Arlott has been here for the longest time, so it's not a surprise to me at least. But in this match particularly, we will see him play in the room. And for Luke, not for Luke, for Marky, sorry, because they switch a lot of roles there. So for Marky, playing on the Akai can actually help him so much with the Retribution battles. And so far, I think that the damage output from Team Burmese Ghouls is equal when it comes to magical and physical. I don't know. This is a Beloyski specially, but it's for Team Burmese Ghouls.
This is a Blink X special, right? I mean, like, this is a hero he loves.
Yeah.
So
He does. He really loves that Ruby, huh?
Yeah. Now, does it work all the time? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You saw the win rate. It's not that great, but for the lineup-wise, maybe you can delve into this a little bit more, Yasu. How do you feel about these lineups here?
I'm not feeling comfortable. That's something. Because I'm seeing really, I would say, a variety of combinations from both teams that we haven't seen played at the same team before. Like if we are talking about Team Burmese Ghouls having Blue as well as the Ruby, I haven't seen that combo together, and also the Guinevere with. Like, I think that everything for Team Burmese Ghouls actually disturbs me, but yet it feels somehow really good.
Okay.
Well, we're going to find out here. Once again, if it feels great or not, or uncomfortable or not, we're going to load up into the Land of Dawn. Game 2 here. Geek fam and Burmese Ghouls. Can the series be evened out 1-1? Or will Geek fam continue on here with the lineup they have? Marky, the question was, what kind of jungler is Marky going to be? The fact that a lot of people watching right now have not seen him jungle at all. If you look at game 1, he did all right? But it's kind of safe. He's playing safe. He's playing the safe heroes. Go and focus on the utility and work around that. Look at this pressure already in the bottom side. Burmese Ghouls.
Already a sprint from Stitch committed down, and he's walking up even without the sprint. Gonna get poked down real good by Chidera on this Bruno, and this is what you expect the matchup to look like, man.
Yeah.
The sprint actually, it's a really good spell. Oh, Beloyski.
Wow. Remember, 7 death power spike. He needs to look for it. Blinkax taking low. Chidera dealing a lot of damage. My goodness gracious. On that Neymar skin, too.
Yeah.
That's so early to deal such damage, to be honest, but Kadera seems to know how to pull that off. But again, the sprint is really good on the Claude, but yeah, I think that there's a lot of crowd control there from the side of Team Geek fam. At some point, I think that he will struggle a little bit having the sprint instead of the Purify. But anyways, let's go and have a look at the in-game equipments. And for Claude, he goes for the steel pants and he will take some of that damage. He's going for a safer approach, even also with the... that was so fast.
In the mid lane, but Niku's gonna be pinned down, and this might be a trade 1-for-1. Marky picks up the kill, and it's a trade, an exchange.
Good lockdown, right? Marky also getting on board alongside Nico. So Turtle now up. Both junglers will make their way there, but the teams here also still trying to get these level 4s available. Shadow's now got his. Luke going to get in position as well. This is really going to be crucial here. Blink not having that I'm offended just yet. Will have to just kind of engage here the way he sees fit. For right now,
oh, Shadow.
It's a 4-man slam, pass, but Shadow's the one who gets taken low. It's a good split over. Luke with the Brave Spider to the back line as well. Nico versus Marky. Who's it going to be? Nico able to dodge away from the flicker stun combo. He pops into Requiem, but still going to be terrified. And the heavy spin with the helmet of Vengeance takes him out. Marky picks up the turtle, and now it's Blink X against the world. Beloyski. We won't need a 0-7 power spike to Dara in the bottom lane. Might get solo killed. One shot. Stitch has done it. Solo kill in the gold lane.
the moves, the BMI. Stitch able to pull through on that. Shadow?
Ow.
Traded in, a solo kill down below, a solo kill up top as well.
What is happening already? I mean, looking at these two teams, you're not expecting this much action going back and forth, but I guess so. 1.5K ahead now for Geek fam. Able to secure that turtle earlier as well. The double kill going over to Beloyski this time.
Oh, final slash, but he's just finding his way out. But speaking about what happened in the last team fight, I would say that Nico overcommitted to that turtle. He lost his life literally for it.
And now it's Shadera again who loses his life. This time in the bottom of the lane. Nico picks the kill up and Stitch on the Claude. He's happy, man. He's getting a lot of gold.
That's, you know, at this point, Shadera being 0-2 right now this early on. Again, this is a Bruno pick against this Claude. It's tough, right? Tough early game already. So real quick, in-game items. How's it going here, Yasu?
It's going for, again, for the Claw. Oh, there is a team fight.
All right, Blink X, very, very low. They're trying to get him out of here, but Shadera, with the help of Marky and Beloy, will get him down. Beloyski will an aggressive vengeance to eat up a few good hits from the turret there, just soaking in. He wants to get the sandbag trait.
Hey, man, he's got tenacity, he's got the brace fight, and he's got firmness. Like, he's all right. Plus, he's got 3 kills.
Yeah.
He is stacked right now.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. Definitely going. He doesn't need those deaths for this power spike this time around.
Oh,
Shadow, though, should be fine from this.
Wait. It's going to happen again. Shadow flickers out to safety. And now on the bottom side, Geek fam setting up for the turtle. It's going to be the second turtle of the game. A boy doing a good job at screening. Trying to zone everybody away. Lina going to be engaged on, forcing the black shoes out very early. Final slash. Not connecting. Beloy needs to get rid of Nico. Spatial migration. Even the Violet Requiem really used up. They're going to concede the turtle, only going for that kill. Marky jumps into the back and Stitch as well, but it's going to be the Retribution that finds it. Oh, it's Luke with a stun and a flicker. Shadow split. Now mounting a boy, looking for a playback, but a boy still has the black shoes. He's all good. Shadow might be in trouble now.
Doesn't have flicker.
1v3, no flicker. That's a glue. That's super squishy.
He is gone.
That wasn't a trade, not at all. Taking both team fights and also the turtle for Team Geek fam, and not just that, the scenario didn't look like, oh my god.
Sliding tackle to the front, Shadera versus 2. And it is Shadera who falls again 3 times in this game.
Beloyski and Shadera just have kind of swapped experiences for now, right? Beloyski's like, you know what, I got it for now. Shadera, you will get to a point where you need to be. Because even looking at the gold, he's doing all right farming. It's nearly identical against, you know, Stitch.
Well, I don't think that this was the scenario that we were looking for down in the bot lane, especially after the early game advantage that Beloyski gave Shadera, but yet it seems like Stitch found his way up and found his way to not just do really good on the bot lane, but also to make a split push up on the top lane.
I get it now.
What?
It's not Beloyski, it's Geek fam. They need someone to get that death power spike. Blink X with a good I'm offended onto Beloyski, but again, that's just the roamer who's still going to be able to outplay it with a final slash, with a vengeance, sustaining back up, and Shadera is free hitting. My goodness, he stays alive in that skirmish.
Oh, they want to put the pressure here. Marky in position. See if a boy actually joins us as well. It looks like they may just call it off. So what you're saying here, Mirko, is
someone needs to hit that power spike.
Someone's got
that power spike, and it's Shadera now.
It's Shadera. 0-3. He's looking to increase his power level at the mid to late game.
That's the Geek fam power level scaling.
Yep.
0-7.
That's the
at
Geek
some
way.
point. At some point, 0-7.
Shadow might beat him to it, though.
0-7 is a little bit too much, though, Yasu. You know?
For a marksman, yeah.
Oh,
okay. They are now trying to walk around that turtle, but oh, Nico's overcommitting.
Wait, Shadow, slam, pass. Shadera still able to use that worldie to back Shadow off. The split is not going to be used up to completely go in. Luke already flanking. It's Beloyski, who's the choice for Shadow. Blink X is going to be terrified, locked very, very low already. Luke wants to go for the kill. Bravest fighter. Luke with a flicker as well, now diving in deep for the roamer. Stitch rotating as well. BMI defensively, a boy caught in the glooms, pops into black shoes. Lina forced to back away as well, and they've done enough damage to the Burmese Ghouls. What a chaotic yet beautifully coordinated fight.
Very chaotic, and with that, Geek Fam gonna secure the third turtle of the game.
And an orange buff, I think.
And the orange buff. Putting pressure here. Gonna even stop Nico.
Wait a minute.
Luke. It's a split. Okay. Oh, he's gonna get pulled though.
Oh, he's ulted.
Oh.
Pulled back under the base turret. Luke, very low. Get some HP from the minions. He's all good, man. He says, Glue, you're out of the meta for a reason. And now another one comes in with a Violent Requiem. Luke very, very low. He finally dies. That's the punishment, bro. You can't do that for too long.
Oh, and with that happening, we just saw the first turret of the game go down for Team Geek Fam. But down there in the bot lane, Stitch is just forming left and right in the mid lane and also in the bot lane. Gold earned. Oh, it's a kill for a. Oh, it's a Stitch. Nah, he goes back.
Beluski, though, he's been doing this multiple times. So, still, a boy gonna be just fine with that. Geek Fam. Looking at it, now they've got the 3K lead. They had all three turtles in their favor. A lot of the fights were quite chaotic, though. So Burmese Ghouls, in a way, they're trying to make this work. They're trying to make this lineup work, right? The Golden Staff being picked up here now for Stitch. This is where you get to a point. Okay, Lord's going to be up here. We got to get some space to work around with. We have no turrets just yet. That's why you see them putting some pressure here. Uh-oh.
Aggressive maneuvers by Luke. Gets the stun down.
Oh.
Now to cancel. Final slash on a Stitch. The Bravest Spider slash is not connecting, and Luke has just given his life away. Stitch picks up the kill. Now it's Beluski,
Nico,
who jumps back in with a vengeance, dodging away from the spatial migration. Marquis chooses to back away. And now it's a boy who's rotating over from the mid lane to try to help his comrades in the bottom side of the map. But the Burmese Ghouls will just take a free turret in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they do work. They get the turret. All this 10 seconds away from the Lord now. So at least they get a little bit of space to work with. And that's the thing, right? Whenever you have the Claude, you can always continue to put pressure on these side lanes if you want to. That is a factor for a lot of these team fights going on, especially as you get to the later Lords. So right now, that it's spawned Geek Fam in position. Gold lead was whittled down a little bit here by the Burmese Ghouls. We'll see how they play around this. A boy also holding onto the black shoes here. That's the choice of ultimate. So right now, still going to be fighting Luke though.
1v2 on the bottom side, trying to distract right now. Shadow jumping into the Jadera. Good worldie by Jadera to peel away from Shadow. Split, but he's still going to be chasing, and he mounts Marquis up. Heavy spin already used up. Blink X looking for the play right now as Nico jumps in and finds the kill on the Marquis. Who's going to get it? It should be Nico, and it is going to be Nico. A boy pops into black shoes against the world right now with a good terrify. Disengages from the skirmish, but the Glue's following through. Shadow with a slap, pass. For the Jadera and Luke against the world. Jadera on HP. Luke. Bravest Spider. Stitch
Nico
trying to go for it.
Whoa!
Finds a stun, and it's going to be a boy who capitalizes with the help of Jadera. One last shot from Shadow, who's still mounting on Luke. Jadera has hit his power spike.
Luke saving the day there, turning things around. What a play. What a response from Geek Fam, but they got to deal with this Lord now. Burmese Ghouls, this is looking a lot like the previous game. We're getting to the point where it's the back and forth.
At some point, I actually didn't know how would Team Geek Fam balance what just happened, but it seems like the answer was simply Luke. And looking at that, Team Geek Fam, I don't know how actually did they recover. Luke was the solution for me, but looking here at the itemization from both teams, the thing that catches my eyes is that Lilia already on her third items, having the glowing one and also the Ice Queen one that can actually make the slowdown effect much more annoying for Team Geek Fam, and even Shadow with his itemization, taking the Molten Essence, working with the gold that he has, and dealing the actual, remarkable damage, but he's in the air right now, Marquis.
Missing the final slash as well. Both these teams decide to disengage for now.
Yeah, they're going to have to respect it once again. Shadow going to be the front line here, but will pop the split. Still, both teams going to disengage. Again, nothing really worth fighting for right now. We're still more than a minute away from the Lord. But right now, it looks like Geek Fam wants to try to go ahead and convert some of these turrets, right? Get some more space to work with. They get the next one here in the bottom side. Eyes set on the tier 2 on the bottom lane. Still Stitch, top side, putting pressure there where he can, trying to clear things out. But right now, Geek Fam just finding these small windows where they can get the space to work with against Burmese Ghouls leading into this second Lord here.
Yeah.
Taking real quick damage dealt though. You can already see it on this list. Stitch up there alongside a boy and Luke.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa!
Speaking of Stitch, he's gone.
What? What was he doing?
I'm not sure why he was there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why.
He came from the top side again. He was clearing that up. Maybe not expecting.
Maybe he relied on Dexter way too much, just to go back to his second skill. Oh, nice final slash.
He baits out the Black Shoes alone. That's Beloyski, and now BlinkX is going to be stunned up by Luke's big blade right there. A boy could dash out of the spatial migration. Now Shadow gets knocked up, and Chidera picks up everything. He went from gold lane to hyper carry real quick.
He's getting to that. He doesn't need the 6 deaths, right? But he's getting to that point where he is online now. Still going to be fighting for it, though.
Beloyski.
No Black Shoes on Lina this time around, and the final slash connecting on the 2. Now a boy forces the Black Shoes by himself. It's going to be the blazing duet by Stitch onto the back. A boy will fall to Stitch. A great BMI back as well.
Kadira
doing the same thing onto Nico, finding the kill. And it's a big shutdown. Meanwhile, Luke against the world. 1v3, distracting everyone. Given time for Mark getting up for the retribution as Luke jumps in forward once again with Beloy. Stunning BlinkX down. One more hit is all they need. I'm offended by BlinkX, but the big ball to the face by Chidera.
What a fight again. Stitch with a great entry for the Blazing Duet, but unfortunately, Luke and Beloyski keeping Burmese Ghouls at bay for the majority of that fight for Geek Fam to secure the Lord, and now get to the point of knocking on the base of Burmese Ghouls.
This guy, Luke. Look at him. He might have been a bit too much that he can chew.
Look at him.
And he does. And now this might be actually very disastrous for Geek Fam. Pops the heavy spin. Oh, trying to run away. Slam, pass, locking him down. Shadow picks up the kill in the bottom lane.
I actually do love Shadow's selections when he goes and takes someone out from the team fight. Remembering that Lord up there in the top lane where he targeted Marky and not Kadera, even though he had a full stack on Kadera. And right now, he knows the targets that he needs to take down for Team Burmese Ghouls. He's doing a remarkable job, but who's also doing a remarkable job here in terms of when it comes to balancing things off is Luke. Luke, as you said, Mirko, he is one against the world.
With that, we come to a stalemate once again, leading into the next objective, a minute and a half away. Burmese Ghouls, though, given everything that's happened, relatively, they just lose that bottom turret, right?
Yeah.
And with that,
Five-man collapse onto Beloyski. Only the immortality can be popped here. Luke jumps into the Raven Spider. Oh, it's going to be Shadows faded in. 1 for 1 so far in the skirmish. Marky waiting in that bush for a moment to strike. It's an XP lane for a roam. So is it still worth it for Geek Fam?
Well, Kadera right now, I would say it was worth it for Geek Fam because Kadera reached his power spike, as you guys said, not in terms of dying, but in terms of actually dealing some damage. So this was the test for me to see if Geek Fam have the damage output needed to take Burmese Ghouls down, and I can assure you that they have it by now. But the crowd control and also the melting, did you see how much damage was dealt to Marky? That's the work of the Divine Glaive there from the Lilia.
Yeah, that damage hurts, right? You gotta respect it. Lina's done an outstanding job so far on this Lilia pick. Hasn't died yet. Really well with the Black Shoes utilization and then everything else. You can often see, damage dealt. Stitch and Lina leading that. And that's kind of what's happening here in a lot of these fights. So what's transpiring is the fact that Geek Fam has to respect the amount of damage coming out from Burmese Ghouls lineup. Even like that, right? Black Shoes avoiding that follow-up from the final slash, but still, final slash not going to be available just yet as this Lord comes up here. Does Burmese Ghouls actually want to do something? Conceal, though.
They do. They want to look for something, but they're not able to find it, Nice.
Forcing them out. Now, once again, getting in position. Burmese Ghouls, they have all the ultimates available for them. So do Geek Fam. Which team, though, will decide to go?
Final slash, only onto the roamer. BlinkX taking low. I'm offended. Finding 2 into the spatial migration and the Requiem. A good heavy spin, and Chidera is able to pop the Winning Nature in time. A boy in the back, Chidera kiting away for his life. Shadow. Split, fully stacked, bringing Chidera back onto Lina. And that should be a kill over Marky and Chidera falling in the bottom side of the map. No! Beloyski saves Marky for a bit. He does fall in the end, but now it's going to be Beloyski against the world. Facial migration once again to knock him up, and it's only a boy left standing. The Burmese Ghouls have fought their way back into the game.
What a decisive fight there from Burmese Ghouls, flipping the table on top of Geek Fam, and now they're going down the mid.
Everything went upside down because Team Burmese Ghouls, they can actually go for that finish. It's not about the lore. Do they have the time? I don't think they actually have the time to defend, but they go for the safer approach. They go back, they send their troops back to defend the inhibitor turrets and also to take that lore. But let's have a really good take at what just happened in the map. I would tell you, definitely, Shadow, by bringing back Chidera to the hands of his own teammates, that's what I told you, a wise selection whenever it comes to selecting the member to take down. Not just that, he stunned Chidera with Marky using his first and second skill, and that what made Nico have a really good window to use his second skill and to bring everyone up in the air.
Yeah, again, you're looking at things just kind of unfold here. Completely flipping in favor of Burmese Ghouls. 4K ahead. They're going to go ahead and even out these waves and march in to the base of Geek Fam. Once again, you saw the damage unfold from the lineup of Burmese Ghouls. Do they want to push it in further? They can't just tunnel vision on this. They're going to go for it.
Pass by Shadow. A boy walking up front, getting a good Terrify in. Luke's still able to use the bravest fighter, and the Lord will be cleared out.
Wow.
Spatial migration and the Battle Requiem on the Super Chidera pops into Purify. Now with Nature as well. Base and Stitch into the midst of it all. That's a Winning Nature pop by Stitch, but you can't Winning Nature magic damage. The boy does exactly that. Geek Fam find a pick to stay in the game and to hold Burmese Ghouls back.
Well, looking at this, Team Burmese Ghouls didn't have much to do actually at this point because they were distracted, I would say, by Geek Fam's movement. They were all around the map, and Team Geek Fam pulled off a really solid defense right there, using the damage coming from Chidera. And not just that, also we have seen them moving all in the mid lane particularly because they knew that this is the only window that Team Burmese Ghouls actually have.
Luke gets pulled back by the I'm Offended, has a bravest fighter, the final slash onto the back as well with the Spatial Migration and a Violent Requiem. Marky in the midst of it all. Chidera, what? Chidera falls in the team fight. Where was he even?
Shadow.
In the back, but it doesn't matter. Now it's Marky who's locked down by the Shadow. And Marky falls to the hands of an unstoppable Lina.
Long timers here. Still 60 seconds away from that Lord. Burmese Ghouls alongside Stitch set their eyes on the top side here. Questionable, where was Chidera? He got pulled in, he was displaced. He just was not where they wanted to be, so he's out of the picture for another 20 seconds. Marky for 30. They have to get ready for this defense. Still no objective to take, but right now Burmese Ghouls might just want to take this base turret to expose the base a little bit further of Geek Fam. As they do, that's taken care of, and they get ready for that next Lord take as they get in position.
Taking the turrets one by one, layer by layer. Team Burmese Ghouls are stepping towards the right path for them, but Team Geek Fam, with the crowd control they have, with the heroes, with them, they have already done all the itemization. But I think that someone needs to tell Marky to complete the items because he have the gold, right? He does have the gold to complete the Cursed Helmet if he wants, and also he can go for an Athena or something. But anyways, let's jump back into the action here. I think that if there is an opening for Team Geek Fan, it will be with Beloyski and no one else but Beloyski.
Interestingly enough, not going to find the connection on that one, but positioning once again between both junglers.
Look
here.
at Shadow.
Going to have to keep an eye on both sides. Shadow in position has constantly given Chidera a hard time here. Also the fact that now they're going to have to work against this. Blink won't find I'm Offended there, just checking that bush. So we'll see. Geek Fam still going to put the pressure. Here, Shadow now joining the fight.
Slam, pass. Flicker into the back, but he doesn't find Chidera. Chidera's still going to be able to escape right now as Blink X flickers forward against the don't run Wolf King. Beloyski finding the same into the back with a vengeance. Now baiting in for Luke. Flicker forward with a stun only onto one member. Nico knocks two members up. Violent Requiem, not gonna use up just yet. Chidera still free hitting in the back right now as Blink X tries to get closer to him. Gets a don't rumble. Chidera losing immortality. Will he be able to dash out in time? He gets out. Nico with a knockup onto 2. That slays Chidera. And now it's Luke once again. 1v4. This time it's Lina who melts him down before he can even do anything.
Living on the edge. Wow.
The team fight prowess here from Burmese Ghouls just comes out swinging to this. They might end the game here.
They should. It's only a boy and Marky versus the whole Burmese Ghouls. A boy trying to look for some cleaner. The spatial migration knocks him up with a Violent Requiem as well, and that has given Stitch enough room to free hit onto the base to equalize the series in game number 2.
A strong showing from the Burmese Ghouls coming out swinging a game 2. Evens out the series against Geek Fam. The tables, the pendulum, once again swinging back and forth. But the Burmese Ghouls pull out this one.
We have predicted a full series, and it seems like it's going that way. Team Burmese Ghouls right now coming back, taking it to 1-1. So that means that this series will not finish until we reach its 4th match. Best of 5 full series. It's no longer a dream.
Would love to see it as today unfolds here once again in this last series, but got to give it up to them all around. Once again, you know, they were working from this time a deficit here for Burmese Ghouls in their favor, and you know, they flipped it around, and I don't know who to give the MVP here. Lina was outstanding on this Lilia. Love to see how sometimes he was just baiting out the final slash from Beloyski. Even Beloyski had a great start of the game, but ultimately, I don't know, man. The shadow on the glue, too. A hero that we don't typically see much.
True.
Just was very difficult to allow the movement from Chidera there. You know, it was a tough time. Not to mention Blink under the signature pick here. So let's see who the MVP is going to be for this game.
Nico.
And there you go. Again, all around, they were all pulling their weight here for this one, but it's going to be Nico on that Guinevere. A great showing, 9-3-9.
Well, when it comes to numbers, Nico is the MVP. When it comes to the silent MVP, I would definitely give it to Shadow. But having here 9-3-9 KDA for Nico and going for a full damage approach when it comes to the emblem, and at some point actually he bought that Genius Swamp, but he sold it by the end of the game, and he went for a full defense set for the in-game equipment. Having a kill participation of 82% means that he was there whenever he was needed. It's not necessarily to have those high numbers, but we have seen him during the whole game in the Lord area and also in the Turtle area, who is really doing good. Stitch here, this was a game, I would say this was a game changer for him when he was in the bot lane at the beginning, but here Luke did a really good damage. Also the Flicker ult here changed a lot to Team Geek Fam, and this game was actually, it actually has a lot of highlights because the game was going back and forth. There was no one actually handling the game for a long time. Team Burmese Ghouls, once they just loosen from their end, Team Geek Fam holds the tie, but when it happens the other way around, Team Burmese Ghouls get the opportunity and also they have the best out of it. This time we have seen that Blink and also the rest of the team for Team Burmese Ghouls were trying to go back, were trying to hold back some damage, and at some points living on the edge for Team Burmese Ghouls was the solution. And at this point we have seen Shadow bring back Shadera, and not just that, he also stunned Marky, and not just that, he was able to finish things off by the help of Lina and also Nico.
Yeah, I love the way that it was executed here. I mean, this is really where, you know, that last fight leading into this, that's where you saw that lineup really shine, how tanky they were, how much initiation factors they have, even the pacing, the movement and positioning of Lina, and how this game unfolded. You know, it just worked really well for them. And the layering, right, of Shadow, able to split, bring people back, and everything else to the team is what worked out. Again, Luke was having a hell of a game, right? But eventually, you just get stopped out. And once again, Lina, so dominant on this Lilia pick, really proving why they wanted to pick it up so early. As you can see, it all unfolds till they cap out the win there. Just, once again, all roles, despite some of the the troubles they had early game against Beloyski and the setups there from Geek Fam, it really worked in favor of Burmese Ghouls as the game went on.
Well, I actually at some point questioned that flicker from Lina because I'm kinda always used to see a Purify, but having that flicker actually gave me a glimpse that maybe at some point the crowd control will be enough for Team Geek Fam to stop Lina from using the black shoes. But when you see now the Kitty A of Lina 7-0-11 or something, like I'm not like we will see the Kitty A together. But Lina was actually breaking off the really good placements to deal the damage enough and also to go back. And his black shoes was used wisely by a boy himself as well. And looking here at the emblem sets, we will know for sure that team who was it? I think, yeah, Lina was going for a full approach when it comes to the damage. Look here, 7-0-10. Even though he have a flicker and even though you are facing not just the Arlot, also Lapu Lapu at some point and the heavy spin from Marky. That was a really dangerous spell there by Lina, but yet he managed to make it go all the way through. And BlinkX at some point, he made some solo plays with Flicker Ultimate to the front that actually made his team come back. I think that this was the flipping point for Team Burmese Ghouls in the mid game, where Blink just went in and took like two members by the I'm Offended, and he was able to flip everything around for Team Burmese Ghouls. Looking here at the statistics to carry on with it, Shadow again as the sandbag of the game, taking a lot of damage. And actually, I don't know if this is what the game actually reveals to us or Geek Fam actually reveals to us, but they banned the Uranus and he took the glue. So for me, is he a two-pick wonder? Because
Two-pick wonder?
Yeah, because he was really good on the glue when he was in the group stage and also the Uranus.
You know, I think either way, whatever you decide to park in the XP lane, most of these teams make it work, right? Even if it's the glue, a hero, like I said, you don't often see this hero picked up. But this time around, you know, it allowed them to have not only an initiation factor or at least a zoning factor, but you could also overlap it, right? You have BlinkX on this Ruby pick who, you know, he's one of the few players that still picks this up and makes it work. So when you're overlaying and you took a look at the items there, you essentially had 3 tanks for both teams the way that they were built out, but ultimately it was Lina just going crazy with the damage in comparison to a boy, right? Especially, that's why we've seen Lilia rise up so much over the course of this M5 alone. And then, of course, you know, Stitch, able to find his own angles that he needed to with the Blazing Duet, really turned the tides of a lot of these fights. So, you know, breaking it down, essentially, lineup-wise, it looked similar. But just execution-wise, Burmese Ghouls, they came out swinging at a certain point in the game, which helped them turn a lot of those fights around for them.
And so far, it basically just shows that in the knockout stages, the level of competition has risen even further from the group stages that was already close.
That's what I'm saying, man. The improvement alone has already been very apparent. But before we head over to Game 3, we are going to be throwing it over to Mara for an interview to hear what's happened in the crowd there before we focus on Game number 3. Mara, take it away.
We're here backstage where the players are, and right beside me is the Burmese Ghouls dugout area. So the players just took a little bit of a break. Now, we want to take a peek and see what's happening inside, and maybe we can talk to somebody. So all the players are talking. Hi, is it okay if we talk to any of you? Yes. Yeah, sure, hi. Come, you can, is it okay to come in or you want to come out? I can come in. Or we can go, I can go in, you guys can go out, but we can give the players a prize. How you guys feeling? How you guys doing? Are you guys feeling good? If you're feeling good, give me a thumbs up. Are you guys gonna take game number 3? They look pretty confident. All right, let's go in here. Because for sure, they're going to be doing their huddle. They're going to be talking about the strategy about the game. Now, let's talk about what just happened just now. So, you guys took game number 2. It was quite chaotic in a way that one moment, your opponent was leading Geek Fam, and in another moment, you guys were taking the lead. How's the mood inside right now?
Yeah, they clam and this, they have full potential to win. So we are not excited and we were trying to win.
You're trying to win. And you're Tura.
Yes.
You are the head manager.
Yes.
And you are Evian, the team manager. Okay, let's talk to the team manager because you're very up close and personal with the players. So, did any of the players tell you that they were really nervous about this match? What was their mindset? Especially now that it's 1-1.
Wala naman sila sinabi sa akin and pinapakita na kinakabahan sila. And siguro, kailangan lang siguro nilang gawin ngayon is maging consistent sa kung ano yung pinakita nila nung early game. So, yun, kung kaya naman.
Yeah, while we're talking, we can actually come over here. Here we go. I actually wanted to show a little bit of the players, but if any of you can let us know, Shadow was not playing in the first 2 series. He just recently played this game and the last series. So what was the rationale? What was the decision behind bringing Shadow in?
Yeah, he is so good in EXP lane, so that's why we hide him. He is only for the playoff. Yeah.
He was looking forward to the playoff.
Yeah.
So when did you tell him that he was going to come in for the playoffs? Was this a last-minute decision, or he knew the entire time that he was going to be the one playing?
Yeah, it is the last decision. Yeah.
Last-minute decision.
Yeah, of course, yes.
So when you told Shadow, what was his reaction?
Siguro naging ready naman siya sa paglaro ng tournament ngayong M5 kasi hindi rin nag-stop siya sa pagbabatak. So nagtuloy-tuloy naman yung grind niya and hindi rin namin actually hindi ko rin in-expect na mapapasok si Shadow kasi naging maganda yung naging performance niya during scrim.
So you didn't expect that Shadow, even you, the team manager, didn't expect that Shadow was going to be playing for the playoffs, but he was ready because he's been practicing. So you guys suddenly pulled him in, and you said he was ready because he's been practicing. But what was his initial reaction when you told him, okay, you're going to be going in for the playoffs?
Wala, okay lang sa kanya. Parang normal lang sa kanya.
It was just normal, no reaction.
Yeah.
He was not shocked at all. Now, who would you say, who are you fearful against? Like all of the players from Geek Fam, who are you really scared of, if there's one player?
We don't afraid of anyone.
We're not afraid of anybody.
Yes.
So right now, it's 1-1. If you can give me an inside scoop as to who amongst all the players is the most vocal out of all of them that you know would pump everyone up?
Siguro, napansin ko, ang pinaka-vocal talaga dito is si Lina. Yung voice niya nag-overtop sa mga ka-team niya. So, and maybe si Shadow yung personality niya is nakakatulong.
Shadow's personality helps everybody.
Nakakatulong din yung personality niya na maboost yung confidence ng team niya.
Now, if you were to give you as a team manager, for sure, right before they come to the game, you give them an advice, what would you want to tell them right now? Yeah.
Okay lang.
Yeah, sure.
Siguro, masasabi ko lang sa mga players ko is pagpatuloy lang nila yung kung ano yung momentum na nasimulan nila and hindi rin kasi, alam kong hindi rin madali para sa kanila na makalaban na yung dalawang Pinoy and respect ko din talaga doon. And siguro...
The two Filipinos, he said, to continue their fight because you're saying that it's not easy to face the other 2 Filipinos, you mean Marky and Baloyski?
Yes.
What is it about them? You were saying that it's not easy to face Marky and Baloyski.
Lahat naman ng
Okay.
players. So, hindi naman madali. So, ang kailangan lang nilang gawin is tuloy lang nila yung nasimulan nila and keep the momentum alive.
To keep what they did, to keep going, and to keep the momentum alive. All right. Well, we wish you luck. Right now, it's 1-1. We're gonna see if Burmese Ghouls take this one. They've had a difficult journey going to M5, and so far, so good. All right. We're gonna go back to our casters and see how it goes. Casters, pasok.
Thank you so much, Marna. Great to hear the story once again of Burmese Ghouls, how they've approached this whole scenario, not only this matchup against Geek Fam, but their journey up to this point, right? Once again, they've been through it all, and so who knows to what can be in store for them, ahead of them, if they can cap out this series against Geek Fam. Right now, it's 1-1, though, so we'll have to see how things fall into place. It is a best of 5, but before that, we want to go ahead and remind everyone, once again, there are TikTok drops happening for all you watching on TikTok. Just watch M5 for 5 minutes, and you can win 1 TikTok viewer chest. Not only that, though, if you watch for 20 minutes, you can get even more. There's a deluxe TikTok chest for you guys. So keep an eye out for that. Again, thank you to everybody watching online or whether you're here with us in EVM throughout the course of this M5. We love to see you guys. Now, once again, we have to talk about the matchup here. Game 3 upon us. But this quote first, right? This is from the coach, Lin Daddy, out of the Shadow into the knockouts. Actually, Shadow is part of our main lineup. And also, they can't predict the play style with Shadow joining the rest of the team. This was going back to the fact when some people are like, man, why did they decide to switch, right? But this is going back to what we said earlier on before we started game 1. It's great for teams who have this depth to their roster, right? This is something that has been happening now for, this past year especially. Teams that have, 6, 7, sometimes 10 deep rosters. So, Yasu, how do you feel about Shadow's performance so far, especially even what we saw from the previous game with the Glue?
Well, look, as we have spoken before about the wild picks, we can now speak about a joker player. Someone who haven't been into the considerations of other teams, yet he was there since day 1. And Shadow playing this good, as I told you, he was a really good player and a really good addition to Team Burmese Ghouls when it came to that victory against Team Lil Gun. So, if I'm Geek Fam at this point, and for my players to play comfortably, I would say that you need to take care of Shadow, because Shadow is dealing, or like at least he is annoying my members. If I'm Geek, he's annoying my members, so I need to take care of him. So, if he's a 2-pick wonder, and you take away the awareness, at least take the Faramis to prevent him from taking the glue, then see how things will go from there.
That's true, man. I mean, the Faramis is one of the best counters, if not the best counter, towards the glue. And it was up for grabs. It was kind of already countered by the Lilia pick. It was already kind of, predicted. Burmese Ghouls had an answer, even if the Faramis was going to be picked up. And, hey, they hid that glue pick until the Valentino was shown.
Yeah, I think that's why, again, you had... At one point, it was like Marky was just rocking the Molten Essence, man. That was to help kind of whittle down even some of the split, like globs there. But ultimately, you had a couple options, and that's the beauty of the draft, right? And that's why so many analysts out there, they love the draft. They love predicting things and seeing some of these surprises. Like Wolf, Wolf, right? Wolf.
Yes.
Well, speaking of Wolf, let's jump into the draft. Game number 3 here. It's 1-1. How's it going to be this time around? Burmese Ghouls off to a strong start after the previous game. We'll see how it all plays apart.
It's just so cool in this matchup that it's not just a battle of these two teams, but it's a battle of these two teams who have similar traits.
Ooh. What kind of traits?
Burmese Ghouls. They have a Shadow, but they played it just recently.
Yeah.
Geek Fam, they've had a Shadow for a long time now.
Since the start.
And the Shadow's always been in the play. Just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Shadow player and a Shadow analyst.
Yes. The Shadow analyst walks on all 4s. The Shadow player walks on 2s.
Does he actually walk on all 4s? That's crazy.
Yeah. And he sometimes howls.
You saw him at MPLI, was it?
I saw him in MPLI. I saw him in... I actually saw him just earlier as well.
He's here.
Geek Fam's playing, bro.
Yeah, but I didn't know if he was actually here. Like, how did he walk here on all 4s?
Look at the arena, Naisu. There's a lot of lights. And when there are a lot of lights, there is going to be a Shadow that has been casted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's that Shadow?
That's so wise.
So has the Shadow ever casted before?
Oh, that's a heated question that I cannot answer.
Shout out Mafel, I stole that from him. He said that in MPL Indonesia playoffs. But here are the drafts.
Yes.
Take us through it, Yasu.
Okay, let's go through it. For Team Burmese Ghouls, they do pay respect to the Lilia that was picked by At least, I'm not by Lina because Lina is on the side of Burmese Ghouls. But generally, throughout the tournament, we have seen Lilia rise up there in the top 3, I would say, when it comes to the mages, and also the Khalid. And we have said that it's a no flying zone for Team Burmese Ghouls, so they stick to banning that Matilda. For Team Geek Fam, they keep on respecting the Uranus, and also by banning, I think this is the same 3 bans from the side of Team Geek Fam from the last game.
Okay. Well, given that situation, too, I like still the respect there for the Uranus. You mentioned this earlier, Yasu, right? But Bruno being the priority pick for Burmese Ghouls is great, right? This is probably one of the safer options, I guess. But on the flip side, what are you going to be giving up, right? What is going to go in the hands of Geek Fam? It's the Guinevere. This is now the new Fredrin. And there's the Faramis. So Guinevere, Faramis picked up. Is this Valentina for Burmese Ghouls? Should they go that route, or should they just pick up, I mean, because Lilia's banned out, right? So do they just automatically go Valentina here?
You know what? A smart move here.
Yes.
You will not take the XP laner for Team Burmese Ghouls. You will leave it up until the end because no one knows what do you have on the XP lane. So far, we have just seen the Uranus and the Glue, and by taking the Faramis, you are sending a really good message that if Faramis is picked off by you, Burmese Ghouls, it's gonna be punished so hard. So just keep on the XP lane until the end. But yeah, the now answer me. I think it was really good if you leave that Trizla, because so far we haven't seen Shadow play any crowd control XP laners.
I think it would be really good if he had other heroes that are like very out of the meta that he can utilize, right? The fact is, his comfort picks were those 2, and now with the Uranus banned out, a Faramis picked up, you can't pick the Glue, you might as well pick up the Terizla, because that has to be the next safest option for you in the XP lane. You do not want Geek Fam to take that away from you, because look at him, look at him.
Geeky but deadly, right? Luke, he holds the highest average kills among XP laners at M5 with 3.57. So if you're going to match up against the Riz in your Luke, what do you take?
Luke.
An Arlet so far is there.
They take the Minotaur first. They say, hey, you want to dive? Come dive.
Come to my fury.
Why haven't we seen an Arlet though? I think the Arlet was one of the best, not the best, one of the most picked heroes so far in the tournament, and still he can work in such draft. So it might just get banned at this moment from the side of Team Burmese Ghouls if they don't want to actually take. Actually, Arlet works on both drafts so far.
So Arlet roam for Burmese Ghouls?
Yeah, and XP for Geek.
I think either way, if you're facing off against this Terizla, right? And we saw the performance previously. Khalid taken out of the picture, so I'm wondering if, for example, Luke, not sure if he wants to go the Lapu Lapu here. A hero that has kind of fallen off too in that matchup against Terizla, right, has been the X-Board. Not sure if they want to go that route either, but still, XP lane, a lot left on the table, not to mention the gold lane too. What are they going to deal with this Bruno? Is it going to be the traditional matchup we've seen so far for this M5? The Brody still going to be available for now. So, you know, what are we thinking here for Geek Fam?
For Geek Fam, I would say they want a Claude or an Ixia. I think an Ixia will make a lot more sense. But for Team Burmese Ghouls, I'm actually wondering why did they ban the Beatrix and not these 2 that I just mentioned. So for Team Geek Fam, the priority is either Claude or Ixia, and for Burmese Ghouls, I think they want an area crowd control after this Diggy ban, so we might see a Tigreal.
All right, I'll tell you why.
What?
For Burmese Ghouls, why they banned out the Beatrix is because for Geek Fam, that's his comfort pick. That's Chidera's comfort pick. When he doesn't get the Bruno, he goes to the Beatrix or the Claude and or the Brody. So it's Brody, Beatrix, Bruno. Those are his heroes. So that's why they went the Beatrix instead of the Ixia. We actually haven't seen Chidera on Ixia ever.
I feel like it's almost a little too risky though. Like, Ixia's great, but she's just glass cannon. You know, and at this point, if you really want to utilize the Ixia and make it work, then, you know, you have to rely. It could work because you got Faramis. You got Faramis. There's the Cloud Band. So now we might even get closer to that being a reality here. Faramis is going to help you protect that Ixia a little bit more. You have a Minoy and Fury to set up into the full barrage. But again, really, I feel like just naturally, Ixia's kind of a gamble, right? It's one of those heroes that you really have to take care of. And that's the gold lane already, man. You have to give them the gold lane experience to shine later on. Bruno just does that a little bit easier. So the answer right now, I mentioned this earlier, Lapu Lapu's going to be picked up again for Luke, playing into that Terizla here.
Maybe Coach Lin Daddy is actually forcing Kadera or like putting him into taking the Ixia, because you said, Marikora, just now that you haven't, based on your own experience, you haven't seen Kadera play the Ixia, right?
The beat of the flag.
Yes. I think that would be a solid option to go for, right? Just ban all of his heroes, which they aren't doing right now with the Beatrix, Claude, and the Bruno pickup. But I think it's more so to force the Brody out. The Brody will be punished by this comp a bit more than the Ixia per se, right? I mean, technically now with the Joy pick, both are pretty bad, right? Both can get countered here. The Ixia can get dove, the Brody can get stopped by the penalty zone, and Burmese Ghouls, they go for the Ruby. Ooh.
They went with it again.
It's a comfort pick. Might as well. It worked in game 2. Let's try to make it work in game 3. What's going to be the final pick, though? Safest choice, Irithel.
Irithel, wow.
Has to be, right? Yeah. Safest choice.
We haven't seen her pop up too much.
I've been waiting for
Oh, that's a risky pick there.
There's no Adet this time.
Yeah, against the Joy,
Yeah,
right?
against the Joy.
And the Ruby. You're not really like a super long-range marksman.
And that Terizla, though.
Yeah. And you're,
The Terizla actually not bad, because you're going to bring the Purify.
I was going to say,
Alright.
but you have the Purify
But
for
who?
only so long, and then you've got multiple things of CC being thrown at you if you're the carry. Yasu, how's this looking? In just a second, we'll see the breakdown for these lineups for both these teams. Things fall into place here. But so far, off the 2 drafts, how do you feel? Which one are you leaning more towards?
I feel more comfortable in terms of the execution for the draft for Team Burmese Ghouls, actually, because they have the crowd control, the air crowd control. Not just that, they have the Bruno, the snowball, all the game, and not just that, they have the Joy that has proven its worth all around the tournament, because not just of the mobility, also because of the immunity, and not just that, the electrifying beats, reaching those backlines will be lethal at some point.
Let's see.
We'll find out. Once again, jumping into the land of dawn. It's game number 3 here. It's 1-1 between Burmese Ghouls and Geek Fam. Interesting lineups once again coming to play. We'll see how they executed this time around. Who gets the momentum built this time? Also, Marky for game number 3. Yes, it's still Guinevere, but a little more action-oriented this time around compared to the last 2 picks that he was drafting. Against a Joy, who has been dominant so far throughout M5. Once again, things fall into place.
And this is where it gets kind of concerning for the side of Geek Fam. Why? Because they actually hesitated to pick up the Guinevere. In game number 2, Guinevere was wide open. They went for the Bruno instead. What does that say? That tells you that maybe Marky isn't too comfortable on this hero, right? It is him just finally, his very early stages of adjusting to the jungle. But wait a minute, in the mid lane. Boy, needs to be careful. Nico's just jumping in. Boy, still able to flicker out, but it's a flicker burnt out. Let's see. What do you think? Is it hard to pull off Guinevere?
I think, Guinevere in a way, especially in the jungle, is, it takes a little finesse, I feel like, for the most part, right? Spatial migration is work. It is very strong. Violent Requiem too, but, for the most part, you've got to be able to find your own setups or follow-throughs. And, yeah, you got to be able to pull it off properly alongside the rest of the roster you have here. Now, I think that's why, once again, you kind of cover that, right? You have a Netherrealm and you have this Minotaur here in Beloyski. So the layering should work in favor of Marky, but still, when it comes down to the actual objective takes, the actual objective fights here, the dance changes, right, from what we've seen from the previous 2 games, especially when you're talking about a Joy versus a Guinevere. So they're going to be very reliant on their teams also to kind of set those up for success as that turtle does spawn. Both teams are working at these level 4s as soon as possible. Luke now has it, a boy just nearly there. But that's it, Marky just going to go for it.
And it does seem like Burmese Ghouls don't want to contest at all. Marky finds it for free. Beloyski now needs to be careful. Minions Fury and a flicker to the back. Marky with a follow-up finds first a blood. Netherrealm going to be popped in by both Lina and a boy right now as Beloyski gets taken low, but still going to be able to survive for a bit until Shadow smacks him with a hammer. But now it's a spatial migration. Marky's 1 HP, gets the damage done before he gets taken down, and BlinkX gets brought back in the end. 3 for 2.
That was actually a really messy fight right there. I wouldn't say that any one of, like both of them actually won the fight 2-2, and also the turtle, even though I would say that Nico was forced to use his retribution just to get that purple buff. And speaking of Marky, actually, in a matter of 3 games, he have tried 3 different utility jungling heroes. At the first game, we have seen him on the Baxia, and then on the Akai, and now on the Guinevere. So it's a really huge challenge for Marky, and I actually don't know about the hesitation that you pulled off, that maybe he hesitated and taking the Guinevere earlier on, but let's see.
Oh boy, gotta be careful. Flicker's out, but Nico electrifies him with the beats.
Yeah, that's what's scary about it, right? The joy is going to be picked up, and this is usually contested for a reason or banned out. The damage this early on, 3.5 minutes in, has to be respected already. And, you know, given the way that if you look at the previous game, Burmese Ghouls, they didn't get any of the turtles, right, in the previous one. But they were okay with that because they set things up to get to a point where then they could contest the Lords. And I feel like that might be a similar situation here. Battle for the purple.
He steals it. Spatial migration canceled. Netherrealm giving him some HP. Oh, the pullback from Blink X all the way to the turret. That actually ends up saving Marky as he found the angle to jump out with the clone, and Geek fam get out. They get a win too. They stole away the purple buff.
That purple buff being stolen and the levels going for the favor of Marky, but looking at the emblems a while ago, Bantina going for a really good approach when it comes to the penetration, and also the Bruno wanting to rely on himself when it comes to laning phase, taking that tanky approach and also buying the Has Claws as fast as possible.
Hey.
What happened?
No, I'm just saying hey because it seems
right.
like Luke is saying hey to Shadow.
Yep.
Don't get too far across the lane. I'm gonna smack you.
Just waving his swords around for now. Turtle going to be up, though. So Geek fam in position. Burmese Ghouls wants a response.
A fight across the map. Up top, they wanted to go for the engage. A boy able to disengage from this one. Blink
that's
X.
far.
They don't have a flicker, man, and he is caught in the midst of it all. Don't run, Wolf King. Good one. Now they're in a penalty zone. On to 3. Locking him down for now, but Luke is able to bring out the bravest fighter. A boy, 1 HP, now gets smacked down by Shadow. But it's a turn. It's an exchange. Chidera rotating from the top side or the bottom lane, perhaps. Now, what? Just jumped to his demise. The Burmese Ghouls capitalize, and Stitch find a turret as well.
Man, that response, just to go for the mid-turret, put the damage. Chidera comes up, finds his death, and now Nico also going to take the purple buff. So they didn't care about the turtle. Again, they might just want to give it up.
They might want to go for it too. Remember, Nico didn't use his retribution, but it's going to be bursted out. A bit too fast unless Shadow gets a cheeky steal. Oh, my goodness.
If he would have got that.
That was close, but Beloyski.
Minions Fury, this time Blink X. There's no way he escapes that. He's been escaping out of a lot of things. Luke, try to go for a flicker play. Didn't quite find Stitch there.
All right, taking a quick look at the items here. Yasu, how's it looking?
It's looking actually pretty good when it comes to Bruno and his farming. And also, he's not only farming in his lane, he's also now using the assist of the minions in the mid lane. And the top lane, Burmese Ghouls are taking a turret. And the bot lane as well, we can see the trade coming from Geek fam. And Joy is not looking in a really good position here.
Well, what I noticed too, the way that Nico's playing this, hold on, Marky.
Really aggressive, now going to be punished. I'm offended, Terrify, and the ball coming down from Stitch. Goal.
See what I mean? Goal. That's, at that point, that's what I mean by it takes a little finesse to make the Guinevere work, right, for the most part. But with that, going back to what I was saying earlier, Nico, for the most part, for this Joy jungle, it seems like a lot of times he's just going to try to farm up as fast as possible, get the items that he needs to win some of these team fights later on, whether that's getting an automatic kill against Geek fam leading into these objectives, you know, or how they play around that. That's really up to Nico, but so far he's kind of just gone as, let me just ignore these turtles for now, but in the mid lane.
Luke wants to ignore everything, but gets caught in a lot of damage. He dives in deep, but Stitch finds a worldie. Luke is 1 HP, and Shadow demolishes him with the penalty zone. As Stitch buys the Berserker's Fury. Is that the power spike they were waiting for to finally take control of the game? To just dictate the game.
Just getting that position they're going to be looking for. Holy Crystal now being picked up by Nico. Shadow going to get dragged. Still trying to work on this mid lane turret.
Oh, nice hook.
Got Requiem. Oh,
Ooh,
still
that
gets
was
out.
close.
Still gets
That
out.
was
It was
close.
a bit too close for comfort.
Yeah, so with that, they might actually go ahead and just try to take this turtle, but as you see, Nico not even a part of this right now. Still working on his buff, the orange buff. Gonna go ahead and grab that. Marky doing the same. Both teams getting in position, but this time around, Chidera's not part of this fight.
No.
So it's just gonna be Turtle now going to the hands of Burmese Ghouls. They've garnered themselves a 3K gold lead up to this point. Very decisive once again in a lot of these decisions they're making throughout the course of this game. Geek Fam has to answer them, finding their own. And again, item checks here, Yasu. How's it looking with that almost 2-5 now ahead?
Well, I'll tell you about the items, but just after I tell you this point, Team Burmese Ghouls, the only difference between them and Team Geek Fam is that after each team fight, Team Burmese Ghouls actually take an objective after it. So let's say, for example, if Team Burmese Ghouls wins a team fight, they go for a turret. If Burmese Ghouls wins a team fight, they go for a jungle invade. But for Geek Fam, they are not doing that at all.
The scariest thing I saw from the items here, aside from, you know, that point you just made, is the fact that Nico has that Holy Crystal, has the Genius Wand. If he just causes havoc, reducing that magic resistance from Geek Fam, and then here comes Lena popping in with the Valentina, it's going to be quite a bit of damage to deal with for Geek Fam, and they're not necessarily where they need to be defensively yet. It's still early on, right? So as these team fights unfold, that's where you kind of have to rely on the kits of these heroes that you've drafted. Boloyski even taking quite a bit of harassment. Yes, he's going to be able to heal back up, motivational roar and everything else, but still, that's the plan for Burmese Ghouls as they go through this. Looking at the damage dealt, though, you can already see things once again favoring Burmese Ghouls. Stitch there on top.
Team Geek Fam actually at this point, they are looking for a really perfect setup to find an opening for Chidera to go in, because it's so hard to set up for a hero like the carry. But looking here, Shadow is waiting.
Penalty zone onto Chidera, still able to kite away, and he bursts him down. Shadow did that for the tier 2. Now, we'll see if that's going to be worth it here, as Burmese Ghouls were actually able to find another objective up top. So it ends up being completely worth it. 1 kill for 2 turrets.
Yeah, macro level. Burmese Ghouls is just on point so far. With Shadow gone, though, for another 8 seconds or so, they're going to have to wait. Probably stall out the Lord the best they can against Geek Fam. Given the situation, Chidera still planting the bottom side, waiting there. Now Shadow going to make his way for this. We'll see. Geek Fam, once again, do they actually want to pull the go on this? Given the situation, being 3K down here, it is going to go ahead and reset. So neither team wants to commit just yet, unless Burmese Ghouls decides to give it a go. Still a lot of this too. Nico waiting patiently.
Oh,
Carries in the bottom lane. Boloyski gets pulled down with I'm offended. Marky now trying to run away, but he's get caught in the wall. And he falls. Geek Fam, were they trying to just concede it all the way from the start? The carry was shown, and they still look to try to contest, and Chidera doesn't get anything aside from the tier 1.
Well, for Geek Fam, the only setup that was possible there is for Boloyski to go in and use his ult, maybe with a flicker in, not out. But here,
good, I'm offended. One more shot should do it.
Nico.
It's bouncing all around. That is truly a worldie from downtown. A half-court shot. Boloyski getting saved by that Nether Realm, but my goodness, Burmese Ghouls, they're outplaying Geek Fam.
I say this is a different Burmese Ghouls from what we saw from the group stage.
Wow.
You know, yes, I know they made a little bit of a change there, but still the game plan that they're approaching this with is just showing that it's working, right? The synergy between them, the shot calls, the way that it's unfolding here, it's a refined Burmese Ghouls from the group stage right now with this Lord top side making its way. Geek Fam, full force though, should be able to defend against it. It is rather quick to deal with. We'll see how they hold on to it. Shield's gonna go.
Electrifying beats just jamming in the back line of Geek Fam, in the base of Geek Fam.
Oh, there's a conceal here by Blink, but oh, he's not committing to it.
Gonna be happy with that mid turret going down 2 already. Once again, early Lord taking down these 2 turrets.
Whoa! I'm offended. Onto the penalty zone, the combo. And you can see the Nether Realm isn't even going to be used up. A boy died before he could use anything. Chidera finds a kill back onto Shadow, but just like Stitch, sliding tackle forward.
what was that? Now the turnaround onto Blink X, the triple kill should happen for Chadera, and he does find the triple kill to redeem himself from game number 2. But what the heck was that?
Stitch was what happened. He didn't have to go forward.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
Well, that gives
did,
a
though.
triple to Chadera, man, on this carry who has been waiting for a moment to shine and pull through, and now that was probably it. Yes, it's still a 4.4K gold lead for Burmese Ghouls, but this is going to translate into turrets going down. Geek fam, make it work. Let's take a look at exactly what transpired there from this instant replay. Once again, presented to you by Kadia. Look at this. Pay attention. That's actually after he had slid forward. And then they just capitalize on it. Man, tough for Burmese Ghouls there going into the base. We talked about this even before in the series with a lead that they had, and it slipped through their fingers. If they continue to play like that, do those kind of mistakes, Geek fam will punish them.
Just really want to know if it was a misstep or it was like a conscious decision, right?
Like, go for it.
Maybe he got overcarried by the damage he can deal. And also Kadira, as I told you, he needs just one opening, and Geek fam at this point, they are all about the counter engage and not about the initiation themselves. So Beloyski actually needs to respond whenever Shadow or Nico goes in and try to go for these risky gameplays. But now they are dancing with the Lord, and there's a possibility to contest.
They just gotta give it up.
Yeah, Marquis completely zoned away, pops into Valor Requiem in desperation. Beloyski gets a good knock up, but the penalty zone locks him down. It is Fury knocking a Stitch up. Luke going in, the Purify's not there. Chadera! Into the back, able to find Stitch. Nico not popping the electrifying beast in time, and Blink X will lose his life. Run down by the likes of Geek fam. A boy takes the kill. And Geek fam, is this their ticket back?
Again, very similar to what we were just talking about. Geek fam knows how to punish here. Burmese Ghouls look like they should have won that fight. They did get the Lord. So right now, Geek fam has to be on the defense, working around it. But down 2 members, what will this result in for Burmese Ghouls? Geek fam still keeping it together here.
Well, for a boy right now, once he got the Holy Crystal, now he can deal a decent amount of damage. He can use the groupings that Team Burmese Ghouls can actually do, but Kadira can also find his way through with this damage, with the true damage that he can deal to these tanky heroes. And if you look at Burmese Ghouls' side, you will find Shadow, Blink, and not just that, Nico at some point cannot deal with the damage output that Carry can actually do. Look at the damage dealt here. You will see that Stitch is sitting there on the top, but again, right now, when you look at Team Burmese Ghouls, they are not actually setting up anything for Stitch at this moment, and he got over carried by his damage, and this is where you face the consequences of your actions. Team Burmese Ghouls, after being in the driver's seat, as we say, they are now afraid of the counter engage that Beloyski can pull off. Beloyski at this moment is the turning point for Team Geek fam to get into the game, and not just that, to finish it all off.
We'll see if they're able to do it. Once again, you saw the damage meters there. Burmese Ghouls doing an amazing job. Shadow also top there for the damage. Has been on point for a lot of these setups. So Geek fam, you know, they've slowly whittled down that gold lead that was in favor of Burmese Ghouls. But here's the thing. The reality of it all, as that Flash of the Oasis is picked up by Beloyski, which will help them, they still have to manage this base. It's fully exposed, right? That's the advantage that Burmese Ghouls has right now as they wait patiently for this Lord to come up. Because at that point, they know, okay, Geek fam, you got to respond to us. Either join us for the dance, manage your waves, manage the base, maybe possibly split them up. So, Burmese Ghouls, even given that situation, if they get displaced themselves, if they get set up upon, are not able to deal with their Nether Realm, the Minoan Fury, that type of setup potential, they could lose another fight, which would just heavily swing things in favor of Geek fam if they secure this Lord in 10 seconds.
And speaking of that possibility, actually for Geek fam, if they win one more fight, it's actually enough for them to finish the game, because having the minions in this period of time, like 17 minutes into the game, you can actually tunnel through any lane that you choose, and you have an advantage into.
They're gonna go for it here, Geek fam. They've got the information.
Oh,
Marky's
Shadow.
going to be on the way, but Loiski jumps into the midst of it all with a Minions Fury, but is unable to find much. Now the rest of the team caught in the I'm offended. Blink X finds a big play, but now Chadera's free hitting in the back. Nico jumps in with the Electron fighting beats. Marky gonna lose his life as he pops into Violent Requiem in desperation. Chadera terrified and taken down. The Burmese Ghouls come alive once again in the 17th minute of the game.
A boy and Luke are going to be alive here. Burmese Ghouls, though, alongside the Lord, are going to run it down mid.
All the way, they're looking to end game number 2. Luke with a desperate flicker forward, not even taking Lina down. That's a killing spree for Stitch and Nico as they take us to match point for the Burmese Ghouls.
The Burmese Ghouls once again come out swinging, won't let it slip through the hands this time as they get to match point against Geek Fam here with another decisive match against the team from Indonesia. How will the adjustments be made? But so far, what a performance from both of these teams. Burmese Ghouls, though, coming out on top.
Burmese Ghouls at this moment, they are rising from the ashes. They are appreciating this second chance and using it to its full. Right now, they are on the road, and right now, they have the opportunity to finish this match totally off by being at match point.
Well, again, as things unfolded there in that match, it looked good for a moment. Things were starting to turn around there for Geek Fam. They could have possibly flipped the script once again, but the roster, the lineup that was initiated here from Burmese Ghouls, they knew the game plan, they executed it well, and they kept it together. Again, learning from the mistake from the previous game in the series where they had a similar lead and it slipped out of their hands, right? So again, they refined that gameplay. They were able to keep it together and end the game to take it to the match point. Now for the MVP here, it's got to be Lina right there. Again, amazing performances so far throughout the series as he struts his stuff. Again, this time around on the Valentina, 1-0-15.
Wow.
This guy does not die.
No, he doesn't. Game 2, he had 0 deaths as well. This guy is unkillable. The unkillable Lina.
The unkillable Lina.
Unkillable Lina. Well, he had a 7-0-11 if I'm not mistaken, and now he have a 1-0-15. And as I told you, he's going for a very good approach when it comes to damage. Either you are speaking about the emblem or even the in-game equipment. And when we go right now to the highlights, you will see the amount of damage he dealt, and also when we go to the statistics, and yet you will see that he got the assist, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that his team finished the job for him. And here Geek Fam were actually from the beginning doing really great, but Blink at some point always finds his way through to trigger this I am offended and take everyone into his hands and make everything flip around. But Shadow seems to be the Joker player that Team Burmese Ghouls needs to just flip things around, and he have proven that he's not a two-picks wonder. He have proven that he is worthy of being. Oh, this was the last ball from the Bruno, but I will go back to my point. Shadow have proved that he can actually play a lot of XP laners, so a lot of teams right now have to take care of Shadow and not just the Burmese Ghouls. Burmese Ghouls at this point had an opportunity to finish because Stitch made a mistake. He got overcarried by the damage he can deal, and he actually he gave a lot to Kadera that he cannot, and you say bite more than he can chew, right?
Yeah, bite more than he can chew, yep.
So he actually did that at this point, and Team Burmese Ghouls have faced a lot of consequences out of it, and we have seen together how much Kadera can deal damage at this point. But Team Burmese Ghouls, once again, they come back on top, they come back into the game, and they take it all the way through, dealing all the damage needed, and not just that, having the perfect positioning at the perfect timing, also the perfect execution.
The thing that really stuck out for me here too, and Mirko was the one that even asked this earlier on in the game, was, you know, the Guinevere, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that fall into place here? Marky in general, right, from what we've seen for the previous 2 games, was more towards that utility, right?
Sure.
And it allows you to kind of pay attention to these objectives, roll around that. You're not so susceptible to getting picked off and, you know, being bursted down. But, you know, this time it was a little bit hard for Geek Fam to execute because of the fact that Marky wasn't able to find some of these setups that we see from, Guinevere typically, right? So then it had to rely on whether that was Beloyski, whether it was a boy trying to keep them alive with another realm. It just didn't fall into place for them. The answer this time, though, from Burmese Ghouls has been very consistent throughout the series. Who, MVP, Lena, is part of that. Nico, a lot of times, like I said, early on, they didn't care too much about the turtles. They wanted to just farm up as fast as possible. Those item interactions, right? The Genius Wand, alongside the fact that Lena built that burst damage really quickly. He had the Clock of Destiny, Lightning Tranche into the Holy Crystal, Divine Glaive, just allowed them to overload the magic-reduced defense of Geek Fam in a lot of these fights.
Well, also, back in Myanmar, Team Burmese Ghouls were, and specifically Nico, played 4 junglers only, a utility junglers. And in this tournament, here at the M5 World Championship stage, he have pulled off the Nolan, and not just that, also the Joy, and both of them, he have executed them with really, I would say, in a perfect way. So looking here at the damage dealt by both teams, Stitch at some point, as I told you, he was dealing a lot of damage, but here comes Kadera, and he comes back into the game. Maybe I would say 10 minutes into the game, Kadera was able to deal a decent amount of damage. A boy also got some penetration items, and he was able to deal some damage, but he wasn't, I would say he wasn't always successful when it came to the Netherrealm. So I just might think that this game and the momentum can go for the favor of Team Burmese Ghouls.
They definitely have the momentum right now, right? Especially after that game. I mean, even throughout the series, they've been doing a great job at dominating some of the early game and transitioning from there. So we can only speculate so much how the adjustments will be made. But once again, we want to invite all you guys to watch on TikTok, because there's some TikTok drops once again going on, just to watch M5 for 5 minutes, and you can win a TikTok viewer chest. And if you watch for 20 minutes, you can get a chance for the deluxe chest on TikTok. So even for you guys here at EVM, pull up TikTok, give it a watch, grab a chest. And now, once again, match point here for Burmese Ghouls. Mirko, how are we feeling so far about all this? I feel like this series alone is one of the more action-packed, team fight-centric, back and forth series we've seen so far.
For sure. I think it's definitely one of the most action-packed today, right? Because we saw in the first match there was a lot of objective battles. Heck, I feel like even in game 1 of Geek Fam versus Burmese Ghouls, there were a lot of... It was very, very low action at the start.
Yeah.
And then we started getting into the later stages of the game. The Tigreal started going for these crazy maneuvers, and then we started to see action. But I feel like that's just how they need to, for Geek Fam, that's how they need to play. That's the way that they were able to find wins, even in the group stages, right? That's their kind of style. Yeah. If they are able to find team fights around neutral objectives, they somehow get the dub. But it feels now, even though they have been able to find these team fights, they just haven't been able to execute as well. Now you can say maybe it's because they have changed a bit of their lineup, have changed a bit of their roster, but the Burmese Ghouls, it also looks like they've improved so much in these skirmish battles compared to their group stage performance.
It's funny because when you think about it, even days ago when we happened to run into them in the lobby, right?
Yeah.
Some of them out there, and they didn't quite at that point. They didn't quite know the situation yet, right? They knew things had to kind of fall in place for them to get to the knockouts here, but they were basically having some fun, but they were practicing, right? And we heard too that they've been preparing for this, and now it's very apparent. You just look at, once again, the execution factor here for them in comparison to what we saw in the group stage. There's very apparent improvement just in the fact too, even if they switched up Shadow, for example, right? They brought that out. There is a little bit of a difference there as well, but it seems to work. It seems like the pacing is working for Burmese Ghouls. And now flipping it over to Geek Fam, like you said, there are some changes there, but since you've watched them for quite a bit, play style wise, Mirko, how is it that much different? Do they still have the same game plan, just a different roster here this time? Like how does that fall into place?
I think it's a mix of both the jungle, obviously Marky maybe not being too comfortable in the jungle, and also Chidera's hero pool, right? Because even Burmese Ghouls, when Burmese Ghouls can get that level of a read, that's the level of a read that you expect MPLID teams to have over you, right?
Yeah.
Bruno picked away. Beatrix banned out. Claude as well, taken out.
Yeah.
It was only the Brody and the carry that we got to see. The Brody is not really safe either, right? I mean, against the Terizla, against the Joy even, they just read him completely. I think now we really understand why they put so much emphasis on first picking Bruno when they're on blue side. Because it's so important to them. If they don't get that pick, they get banned out completely, or they're forced to play Chidera weak side of the map.
And then they're forced to alter their strategy, you know, throughout the course of the game here, where, you know, once again, you find yourself, if you're Beloyski, trying to force some of these situations, whether that's, like we said before, there are some roamers that are just the sacrificial, you know, lambs to their teams to try to get things going. But, you know, now that you're facing match point for Geek Fam against Burmese Ghouls, you got to somehow figure out how are we going to adjust this, right? And the approach of the game. For me personally, Yasu, I don't know if you agree with this, but I think go back to it, right? Put Marky on one of those utility junglers, allow him to just kind of focus on these objectives, focus on extending some of these team fights and not worrying so much of landing those spatial migrations, landing this or that. Fight, you know, fight for the objectives. Let the rest of the team shine there, and also, if you can, like Mirko said, get Tradera one of those picks, man. One of those picks that he needs to really shine in that gold lane, because there's been a lot of focus from Burmese Ghouls towards there.
I'll take 2 points. The first point is related to the one you just said. I agree with you. I would say that Marky should keep on going with the utility heroes, and not just that. I would like to have a slight change. I haven't seen him put himself in the best position possible with the Guinevere. Maybe he was actually better on the Baxi and Akai. So I would say, I would not say like go back to playing that or that. Maybe the positioning with those heroes or other heroes for him are better than the Guinevere, because with the Guinevere he was a little bit aggressive, and his positioning at some point was obvious for the opponent team. But here comes the problem that Geek Fam is facing. He is not the main jungler though, so you cannot like put all the burden upon him. But there is also a factor that is being neglected at this point, and that factor is the stress. And Team Geek Fam at this point, they are facing, I would say, not a reverse sweep. Did they start off the series? Geek Fam was, yeah,
it's not a reverse sweep, but yeah, they started off on top.
Yeah, they started, but then everything is just going south for them at this point. So the stress, I think, is a really good factor here that we haven't talked about.
The stress from winning game 1?
No, the stress of, like, now everything is rushing towards them losing, Geek Fam.
Well, I think, you know, given this stage, there's always some, you know, unspoken form of stress for all these players. But relatively, they're all pro players, right? They've dealt with this type of stress so much in and out. And with that, you have to consider the fact, too, right? They are technically, it's double elimination. If whichever team loses this, they still have a chance, right?
Yeah.
Now, given that, I think, yes, there is some adjustments that we're seeing here. Not only, of course, in the roster, but kind of the maybe playstyle a little bit, synergy a little bit here. But of course, you know, if you have a deep roster, you practice this even off, you know, off the stage, and they're ready for these changes. Now, ultimately, what does that mean? Geek Fam, they're just struggling a little bit against Burmese Ghouls, who has had to go through a very similar situation. And so across from them, right, I think this comes down to these power picks for the team. So, jumping into it, let's go ahead and head into game number 4 draft. We'll see exactly how Geek Fam wants to adjust from here. Do they lock in a priority pick for Chidera? Do they build up upon the utility junglers for Marky? All to get them to a game number 5. You can see it. They're going to be on the blue side. We've got Burmese Ghouls on the red. Bans already coming through here. We'll see, once again, what the priority is.
It'll be pretty scary to see if the Burmese Ghouls ban out a Bruno. Then what? This whole blue side option that we went for, what is it for if the Bruno gets banned out? What I find very interesting is the fact that they are willing to first pick a Bruno, but they're not willing to first pick a Wanwan. Guys, if you've been following MPL Indonesia, you know that Chidera is probably one of the best 1-1 users that we have as well.
Yeah.
It's one of his main picks in Indonesia. When it's open up for grabs, especially last year when it was broken, they'll always pick it up. They'll always have it on the hands of Chidera.
Well, speaking of the draft right now, I would say another point here is that I haven't seen a certain pattern when it comes to the picking phase, but I've seen a pattern when it comes to the banning phase. Because so far we have seen Nolan's like forbidden so far, and not just that, also the Matilda will be banned at some point by Team Burmese Ghouls, because the banning can be divided into 3 different divisions. The first one is the meta bans, the second one is the target bans, and the third one is the bans that you cannot play against, or like the picks that you cannot play against. And I think at this point, Burmese Ghouls cannot play against Matilda.
We'll see if that's okay. Let's say it's not banned out here.
All right.
Are these one of the teams that would actually like to, in a way, take the Matilda? I mean, is this the game plan for them? Do you see that? Because still, I think given the fact that Bruno so far not being banned out, I think this is a first pick Bruno for Geek Fam.
First pick Bruno for Geek Fam, but for Burmese Ghouls, I'm not gonna go for an all-in again. I'll say 99.99. I'll leave 0.01% for doubt.
You're going 99.9.
0.99.
So you're leaving 0.1.
Yes, for doubt.
99.9 for what?
For a Matilda ban.
Ah, for a Matilda ban. Okay.
Matilda ban.
Yeah.
Always on the way.
Yeah.
Good. There it is.
Yes.
You got it.
Not Mr. 100% anymore.
Hey, that's called statistics, right? But you believe in your gut, you go with it. Right now, is this the pickup? Is this the Bruno for Geek Fam? And if they actually take it, where do they give up?
Yeah.
Right? There's the Bruno. So the give up here, what are we thinking? Is it the Faramis? It's not banned out.
Yeah, look, as I told you, there's a pattern when it comes to the banning phase, but we have forgotten something. Burmese Ghouls, and especially Shadow, can now pick whatever he wants because Uranus is open, Glue is open, and not just that, also the Terizla, and not just that. I just might think that Coach Airbang at this point gave up on focusing on Shadow because he doesn't know what is the draft pool for this guy, because apparently he can play a lot of XP laners that we haven't still figured out.
I think given that situation, these picks, the XP lane,
Yeah.
there it is.
Shadow, it's Shadow. We know what he's going to pick, and this time they also pick away the Baksha. So they know that the Uranus wasn't as effective because they had a Baksha. In game number 1, now it's Geek Fam. The ball is on their court.
Is this the Akai
It's in their
Baksha
court.
matchup?
Akai Baksha again,
Yeah.
but this time it's Akai on Geek.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it. The Guinevere could also work though, right? I mean, I don't know. What do you think about Marquis Guinevere?
I don't feel good about the Guinevere from the last game, man.
Me neither, man, to be honest.
You know, Marquis,
too.
hey, I'm happy to see you in the jungle, man, but not the Guinevere.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know what's gonna be so annoying if Team Geek Burmese Ghouls did right now?
Yes.
Angela.
Actually, the Angela would be a very good choice
With
to
the
go for
Uranus?
right now. Yeah.
With the Uranus,
Yeah.
with
Uranus
the
and
Bucks,
Bucks,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so annoying.
there's the
Guinevere and
Guinevere.
Nyroth.
Guinevere and Ira. Are they anticipating possibly even an Angela pick here into this? I mean, Dyroth locked in, right? This is a good matchup against the Uranus. This is something that we've seen plenty of times in the past,
True.
you know, months and months ago. But it still works, right, for the most part. So, like, if you're Burmese Ghouls here, Yasu, do you actually believe in this Angela pick? Is it the right choice, or
Yeah.
do you go somewhere else here, right? Do you actually want to lock in your gold lane option, or just save it? Save it because most likely those last couple bans. Oh, there it is.
99.99%.
Can I get a boppy boppy boo?
Poppy Poppy Boom.
There it is.
Poppy, poppy, boom. What did you teach him? What is that? Poppy,
That's
poppy, boom?
the sound. That's
he
the
taught me that in
yeah.
Wildcard, man.
Oh.
That's Angela's sound when she does her
When she
ultimate.
hard guards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Poppy Poppy Boom.
Wait,
And-
she does that?
Yeah.
I don't know what game I've been playing because I've never
I don't
heard that
play
in my
Angela,
life.
bro. I don't play.
I don't play Angela though.
I don't play.
Yeah.
I don't
The
play
choice
Angela.
was whether you want to strengthen the Uranus and the Baksha with the Angela, or you want to diversify your composition. And right now, basically what they have is a Uranus and a Baksha that is going to be almost unkillable. I won't say unkillable. I'll take the Yasu route. 99.99% unkillable.
So we're just doing that now.
Poppy, poppy, boom. Is it
Boom. Yeah.
Poppy, poppy, boom. Nice.
Bobby,
So-
Bobby Boom, baby. If,
Bring-
you know, you gotta celebrate the Angela pick. It's been banned out so much,
Yeah.
and this is close to the Yasu dream.
Close to the Yasuo dream.
I really need to check that. I don't know if you guys are messing with me or if that's
No,
an
it's-
actual like voice line in the game.
That's it. I'm pulling it up.
Right.
You guys
You-
cast for a bit. I'm pulling it up.
All right. We will
You
get a
didn't know this?
confirmation. We will get a confirmation from Naisu right now. But until we get the confirmation, we'll see that Geek Fam actually banned the Ruby because learning from the past, we have seen Blink being so toxic using that Ruby. And not just that, for Burmese Ghouls, they have banned not just the Minotaur, but the Valentina because the Valentina at a certain point can be also used to steal the hard guard and to benefit not just the Deeroth, but also the Guinevere. And the Guinevere, as you said, Naisu, for Geek Fam, it hasn't worked quite as we have seen Guinevere players throughout the tournament so far.
Okay, well, as we get through this, there's, like I said, if you don't pick up the gold lane options, right, it's going to be focused on a little bit. Already the 1-1 taking out the Ixia, or earlier the 1-1, now the Ixia. So once again, do we leave this up to already Fairness?
Whoa.
Locked in here too.
Now Geek Fam can go. It's tough now, right? The Valentina's been taken out. The Lilia's been taken out.
Wow.
What does a boy play? These are all the 3 heroes. So they took a different route this game. Last game, it was ban Chidera, limit his heroes. Now, it's limit a boy.
Yeah.
Make him a kid.
Make him a kid.
Yeah, from a boy to a kid, you know?
Yeah, but there's Kid Bomba though. You cannot underestimate kids anymore.
Well,
But he's Kid Bomba, you know? He's not a
Yeah.
kid. This could be a kid, you know?
Well, looking at
Poppy,
Burmese-
poppy, boom.
Poppy Boom, we will get a confirmation soon from Naisu because he's searching that up.
He's been searching for some time
yeah,
now,
it's
man.
right here.
Yeah, it is. See? See?
Poppy, boom.
Boom.
Yes.
Poppy, boom.
Oh, nice! Finally!
He just lost his mind.
Finally, I see an Eve. Finally.
That's
Oh
the
my
sound
God.
of joy right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Yasu
If
just
Angela
went to his
says
knees.
poppy, boom, Joy says whatever he said earlier. Because that is literally the sound of joy. I've never seen anyone as happy as that to see a Eve pick in my life. Not even a Russian, he mains the Eve.
Sorry, I feel like a lot of us have gone through the Eve.
I am done with
Eve,
Eve,
yeah,
yeah.
the
So
Eve
when I
era.
see Eve, I'm disgusted.
Eve Farsa, Eve Farsa,
Oh,
Eve Farsa. No more.
Get it out of here.
All right, Yasu, take us through this breakdown here.
Okay, we have given a lot of credit for the Eve right now. I would also mention the Claude being picked alongside with the Angela because whenever I see an Angela, I would just expect 2 options most likely to be picked, which are the Claude and also the Erythel, but earlier on. The Erythel, after the little bit of a nerf she got, I wouldn't recommend her that much, but an Angela with a Claude, that's lethal.
Well, we're going to find out here. We load up into the land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, it's match point for Burmese Ghouls. Can Geek Fam extend the series to game number 5? Once again, it's been a back and forth between both these teams duking it out. Interesting lineups too. Another debut pick for M5 so far. Now 70 unique heroes. 3 more to break M4's record of 72.
We're still on Knockouts Day 2. We're going to beat that for sure.
Maybe it's the time for Kimi. Maybe it is the time for Kimi to break some records.
Man, if Yasu went on his knees for the Eve, I don't know what's going to happen for him.
I told you I
will
will cry. I told you I will cry.
He's going to cry. So we had the sound of joy. What?
Oh, wait.
Oracle
where is
taking
that
the
orange?
detour, the entire thing, man. Beloyski, he knows exactly how to make the orange buff make a detour. He's recoding the game.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day. Real quick, emblems. How's it looking, Yasu?
It's looking quite good for the Baxis, also looking quite good for the Claude because Claude needs to be defending himself at a certain point because Blank will not give the assist for him. That was a steal?
Good wall, bro.
Wow. He's an engineer, maybe.
An
He knows how to
engineer?
build walls, yeah.
This is just Beloyski doing...
An architect.
Yeah, I was like, an engineer building walls sounds strange.
Yeah, but I'm an engineer, by the way. So yeah.
You
I
build
kinda
walls?
know. I build the wall.
You build a wall.
A wall.
Is it the Guardians area?
I
Right now.
think so. The Guardian's barrier is not looking too good right now. Beloyski's HP bar isn't looking too good right now.
Okay, going back to this too, lineup-wise, yeah, it's been forever since we've seen an Eve, but ultimately, still works, right? I mean, RWM.
Marky.
Violent Requiem, Lina pops in that Purify. He ain't dying today. He ain't dying this series, bro.
Yeah, not again. He can't ruin that record so far.
Oh, a boy.
There it is.
Dealing good damage.
Yes, Luke as well, man. Getting brought back by the Stampede, but he dashes out of that range, and now they're set up properly for the first turtle that has just spawned into the land of Dawn. RWM, oh, it does feel good to say it once now. Nico
has that nether realm to keep him at bay. Safe for now, jumps into the shield unity. A boy trying to run him down, flickers out, and Nico still is able to find first blood despite everything that's used on him.
Hard guard.
Poppy, boom onto Shadow with a hard guard, and Beloyski's forced back with a wild charge.
Affected by this Poppy. Poppy.
That's for you.
That's for you, man.
Right? Again, Angela is going to be a nuisance here for the most part, right? Working through that hard guard, dealing with it, but ultimately Geek Fam able to secure themselves this turtle. But we've seen this before throughout the series, right? Burmese Ghouls sometimes just like, you know what? Let's not worry too much about these turtles. We'll just fight it out and work from there. Also, real quick, you know, itemization-wise, build paths. Where are we looking for, you know, as these first items are worked on?
Look, when you are on the gold lane and you're playing against a hero who can deal damage with the basic attacks, you kind of want to go to the... let's look at the team fight first.
No. You're supposed to hard guard here. Blink X. No, the wild charge, and a big ball comes down. No Poppy boom for the next 7 seconds, man.
Feels bad for you? Not having a Poppy boom?
We can't say it anymore for... Oh, yeah, he's back. We can say it again. All right, it's all good now.
All right, so I was saying that whenever you're dealing with a hero that can deal damage with the basic attacks, it's kind of good for you to go with the steel. Oh, I cannot finish it.
Oh, wait, whoa, Chidera with a flicker. Very defensive there. Just gets out, and then Burmese Ghouls, they also don't choose to fully commit here.
Okay, so, you know, seeing things unfold here, there's 3 purifies for Burmese Ghouls. That's part of the big thing. Oh, RWM once again going to push them out.
Whoa. Abyssal Strike kind of whiffs there.
They get a lot out though. Like that, I feel like that's the play. Like if you're Geek Fam and you're working against...
What happened to Blink X? No! Another 13 seconds, we won't see it. And Geek Fam now utilizing the space to go and take the tier 1 up top. Lena trying to open up, trying to give Burmese Ghouls some space, but it just seems like Geek Fam have control of this game.
I just wish I can finish this point without anyone fighting. So I want to say that whenever, I don't think that I'm going to finish it.
Uh-oh.
Nico gonna get caught in that barrier right now as Geek Fam look to go for this turtle.
Whoa.
Hard guard coming down on the Shadow, wild charge as well. Marky gonna be able to find the retribution right now, but he's gonna be caught inside of the turtle pit. Chidera as well is next on the chopping block as Nico picks him up. Beloyski trying to run away. Blink X coming down from that hard guard. Beloyski flickers out, but Shadow still finds a double. Meanwhile,
Blink.
Luke, Blink. Strike. Blink X getting saved. Luke with a flicker forward, finding the kill, but now 3 members of the Burmese Ghouls is chasing him down. Shield Unity coming down. Luke able to dash out from that one, but now gets caught in the Shield Unity as the rest of them go and dive Luke. It should be a kill. No, he jumps out. Shadow takes 2 turret shots and walks away.
Love how he had literally along the action that was unfolding, he had all the stickers. Right? He had it all painted perfectly, even with the double arms up at the end as he survives. Now, taking a look here, gold earned. Chidera's where he wants to be. This is why that Bruno was so crucial for them, but given that fact, right now, Burmese Ghouls, a lot of these skirmishes, a lot of these team fights are working in their favor. How long can they keep that up, though?
Oh, the hard guard.
Everything, real world manipulation, you're stuck in the real world. Everything at the kitchen sink was thrown at Stitch. My goodness, that was brutal.
Well, I was asking how long could they keep that up, skirmish-wise. Geek Fam, though, a very decisive response. Berserker's Fury also picked up now for Chidera, so the damage department is going to be there. He has the 2 crucial items.
Spatial migration to the back, finding Blink X. Marky disengaging, Beloyski taking low. Has the conceal to go and run away, but now it's going to be Luke who pins them down, gets this penetration on it. Chidera is just free hitting in the back with no care in the world. Shadow, 1 last hit should do it, and it does. Chidera picks up a shutdown, making a double kill in the 6th minute of the game.
After taking the first turret on the top lane and also the first turret on the bot lane, you cannot expect less damage from Chidera. 4-1-1 and also having all the gold in the world that he needs. And right now, if we look at the items, if it came, thank you producer. We have now the Has Claws, and not just that, the Berserk Fury. He's so far ahead in his game. He's 2K ahead from the Claude. He's 1 item ahead from the card.
Yeah, that's kind of massive, right? At this point, Burmese Ghouls, they're going to have to just let go of the 3rd turtle of the game. Shadow.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Beloyski with a flicker, wild charge. Oh my god, they commit. Even a boy finds an off angle to take Uranus down.
Geek Fam is mad.
Wow.
They're mad. There can only be 1 Shadow.
There can only be 1.
And it's our analyst.
Yes.
dang, this type of lead this early on, very strong showing from Geek Fam. Whatever they decided to talk about before the last game, they figured things out. And with this, once again, playing around this lead that they have, they set themselves up perfectly for that first Lord of the game, which Burmese Ghouls, again, looking back at this, the series as a whole, they haven't been too far behind this early on, right? They have had some comebacks throughout the courses of the game, but at this point, it's like you need so much time for Stitch to get online here, and that's one of the downsides of the Claude, right? You need more time than in comparison to a Bruno. So then you're really relying a lot of the times on, what is your mid lane option? Well, this time, yes, Lina, he's on this Faramis. He has to play around the Netherrealm a lot of the times too, responding to all this setup potential from Geek Fam.
And now, what I want to say is, wait, before that, Shadow locked down by the Valor Requiem, a real-world impilation. A Purified to respond it over. Shadow's just trying to buy as much time as possible. Dives under the tier 2, gets walled! And gets taken down by a boy. Beloyski is truly an engineer.
Yeah.
You wanted to make a point there, Mirko.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. You don't give Geek Fam momentum, right? Because
they are
saying
no. I thought
even
this is what you said earlier.
Yeah, they are momentum, but there's a better saying in MPLID.
What is it?
Don't let Geek Fam cook. Because when they cook, they also eat.
They also eat.
Yeah. Have you seen? Oh, Lina, nice steal. But yeah, have you seen their players? They're healthy.
They are, yeah. Let them cook.
Then let
or
them
don't
eat.
let them cook.
Let them cook and then let them eat.
All right.
Speaking of the hero lines here, Angela actually say that I can do all the chores, but not cooking. So Team Burmese Ghouls cannot cook, but Team Geek can.
Technically they can with the Angela. Shadow can't cook either. Whenever he starts to stuff, he gets pummeled by a few balls from Shadera. God.
Well,
is Nico trying to steal here? No, he's not.
Yeah, Nico's not even going to get close, right? Luke going to make sure of that, keeps him at bay. Lord, like we mentioned, this is just going to be Geek Fams. They've set everything up in the early game for them to be at this point. Now, once again, as they approach into the base here of Burmese Ghouls, they'll continue to get these tier 2s down. Lord makes its way top side. Burmese Ghouls just has to watch as their turrets go focus down here.
By the tanks, right? I mean, they're trying to defend in the mid lane. They do a pretty good job, but in the bottom lane, Chadera's just eating these turrets.
Yeah, when you have a Bruno, you cannot expect less because once he finds that turret, he just keeps on scoring goals, man. He keeps on scoring goals. Having that Lord coming up from the top lane, it's actually so hard for Team Burmese Ghouls to pull up a solid defense. They do have the Paramis to give them the opportunity to come back. Oh, Beloyski, why did you hit your head to the wall, man?
He's taking the name of the skill a bit too literal. Wild charge.
Wild Beloy, right? Just
Big
again, working, waiting for that Lord, making its way topside. RWM going to be dropped, though, from the pressure. So now, Burmese Ghouls.
It's a weird angle, but it gets the job done. Marquis jumps up the spatial migration. Burmese Ghouls able to clear out this mid lane pretty well. The Geek Fam want to utilize it more in that top lane. Burmese Ghouls doing a pretty good job and will only just lose one base turret. I would say it's a... Never mind. It was the first Lord. Geek Fam got so much value then.
That's what's crazy about it, right? When you look at it, look at the numbers, look at everything that Geek Fam got out of that first Lord, especially that base turret on the top side. That's troublesome for Burmese Ghouls here, right? So Yasu, given the situation, 7,000 behind, even itemization-wise, what's this looking for Burmese Ghouls? How do they get back into the game?
For Team Burmese Ghouls to come back into the game, they kind of need... Where is the crowd control? I kind of neglected that. Where's the crowd control from Team Burmese Ghouls? Yeah.
Well, they don't really have crowd control here. They only have Nico.
Who will keep Geek Fam into the Blazing Duet, though? If you don't have any crowd control.
I don't know, man.
That's tough, right?
Yeah.
When you look at it, you're like Faramis. If he had a flicker, you could probably make an amazing flicker stampede combination, but you got Purify, right? So
yeah.
There really isn't anyone there to keep them together for the Blazing Duet, yeah.
Huh. So for Burmese Ghouls to come back into the game, we should see Stitch's damage output because I've seen him whenever Burmese Ghouls is focusing on contesting on neutral objectives or even looking into the bot lane, he's always on the opposite side of the map. He's always farming and finding his way through that farm. So I want to actually see how much gold does he have because Stitch Stitch is the one who's cooking actually from Team Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah, he's got to get to the point where, like I said, Claude takes a little bit longer to build up, right? But at this point, you know, how much time are we talking about? You know, 5 minutes? Oh,
Marky.
Shadow.
Shadow's been lifted up too many times this game.
Yeah, he's tired of it, you know? Even if you are
He's
the
already
Uranus here.
he's already floating, you know what I mean? Like,
How much further can you float?
Oh,
Well,
a
he
boy.
can float onto a boy right now who's going to be able to pop the real world manipulation inside of the wild charge. Saves it for a bit. Now Chidera joining in the fight, doing some damage on the Shadow. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map is going to be Geek Fam going up against the rest of the Burmese Ghouls, but the Burmese Ghouls can't really force anything. They just got to take what they get, and what they get is just a boy.
Yeah.
Just get a boy. But with that, too, Geek Fam will be able to get this Lord. Burmese Ghouls trying to just find the wins they can, right? Given that situation, you're getting to the point, yeah, some of these items are being locked in here defensively as well for Shadow, but still, ultimately, base-wise defense is what we have to focus on here for Burmese Ghouls. Yasu,
Yeah.
do they have a good high ground defense? Can they actually defend in their base here with this lineup that they have? Now that in just seconds, the second Lord here will be marching in the base.
Well, before I see the blade armor coming in for Shadow, I would have questioned the words I'm gonna say now. So I would say that they can actually pull off a good defense if Shadow goes in and fronts the damage coming from Shadera. Not just that, they can even make the defense possible with the damage coming from Stitch, because I've took a quick look at the gold difference between him and Chadera, and it's actually 600 gold. Even though they are behind with almost 8k, he's not behind when it comes to gold with the most gold holder from the side of Geek Fam.
All right, let's see it. Burmese Ghouls doing a proper defense. Luke already forced to flicker early on. Beloyski goes down as well. Stitch doing a whole lot of damage. The wall charge comes down with the real world manipulation and the Abyssum Strike.
The Lord.
But the damage has been ignored by the Nether Realm. Luke able to escape. Base turn number 1 in the mid lane. Taken down, but Chadera falls as well.
Well, right now, Burmese Ghouls, successful defense, although they lose that mid turret. They hold it together for now, gaining a little bit of gold as well. Stitch now picking up a Malefic Roar.
He's doing it.
Will help him. Yeah, he's cooking.
Yes, let him cook. Oh, look! I told you, he's doing really good when it comes to finding when and where to farm, and even he's giving vision to himself. So, oh, Nico.
Oh, Luke walks up, wild charge, stunning them. Purify out, real world manipulation now onto Lena with another round, and he's gonna be Stitch with a blazing duet. Finds Beloyski under the tier 1, and now Marky's running for the hills, but he's gonna be pulled down, and Lena bursts him with a Ghost Bursters, takes him out 2-0. Burmese Ghouls are back in the game.
What just happened? Again, as this whole series has gone on, this is back and forth past the 15-minute mark. Burmese Ghouls fights back.
They fight back, and they can actually flip everything around, because as I told you, Stitch have been finding all the right angles and also doing all the right decisions, having this damage right now.
He's a protractor.
He
finds the
What?
angles.
Yeah.
He finds the angles.
You got to get it. You're an engineer.
Okay.
We love math.
I love math. Maybe not quite much, because I'm casting right now. I'm not working as an engineer.
Hey, you can be an engineer analyst.
Yeah,
An
I mean, if you
engineer
can be an
analyst.
engineer player, right? Because
could.
technically you make walls outside and also on Grok.
The perfect angles.
and I'm a roamer, so everything adds up. So
What are you not? You know, like roamer, engineer, caster.
I will not flex my achievement, but
Filipino, we'd like to say sana all.
Sana all.
Sana all, Yasu.
Sana all Naisu. So I would say that, look, let's get back to the game. I actually kind of forgot the game.
Okay, Chidera's still free hitting. Slight tackling forward. Nico shield unity, locking Chidera down for a bit. Now flicker backwards from
Nico.
Chidera, defensively going to be able to piss a lot of damage out. And Abyssum Strike comes in, and Blink
Where's
Mark's able to
Stitch?
flicker out for now. Marky gets kited away by Stitch, and Nico walks out of the real world population. Ooh! With a burst of damage, Chidera still able to sustain back up. And it is a jungler taken down for nothing. The Burmese Ghouls.
They keep going. Again, they're going to have to go ahead and handle some of these waves pushing in, but they're going to ultimately start up this Lord. Burmese Ghouls now, throughout the majority of this game, has not had this type of lead. Can Geek Fam keep it together and keep them from getting this Lord?
Let's see, Shadow gets the help of the hard guard, and that's going to be the Lord going to the hands of Burmese Ghouls as Luke dives in with the Abyssum Strike. Still going to be Chidera doing some damage. Stitch going to fall. Chidera free hitting in the back, hiding away. The real world inflation. Chidera at a time.
A boy.
And a boy finds them all.
The base. They got to get back. Okay. Lena's up. Blink is there. But making a line for it. You have a boy. Marky up. Lord going to spawn though, so they're going to be fine. But what an exchange for that Lord.
A triple kill to a triple kill, one by a boy and one by Nico. Both of them found every target possible to take down, but it seems like Geek wants to go for a little bit of an aggressive approach, yet the timer is working for Team Burmese Ghouls. They can actually come back and make a really good defense, and not just that, by the help of the minions coming with that enhanced Lord, some of the turrets might actually go down. And seeing and looking here at the map, you'll see that Team Geek Fam are one mistake away from losing the game because they already have an inhibitor turret to defend there.
Wow, man, these fights, this series, I feel like this entire series has been the depiction of that fight right there, right? The back and forth is what we see from Geek Fam and Burmese Ghouls. Ultimately, but I'm still, my arms went up in the air. Because positioning from both these teams, sometimes when you're looking at the gold lane, you're like, whoa, what is going on? And then things kind of get topsy-turvy. Ultimately, though, we have to point out the fact, yes, things are pretty much evened out. Gold lead diminished. But the base of Burmese Ghouls is the one that's nearly exposed. They hold on to that one turret. They have to constantly send Blink X there, probably to manage a lot of these waves. You know, Angela can only clear things so well, but ultimately, that's the advantage for Geek Fam right now. Expect that not too much is going to happen unless we get a crazy setup from either of these teams. Probably Beloyski would be the one putting the pressure there. But ultimately, you'll wait a minute for that Lord to come up, and then you duke it out, right? We also, the thing about this lineup alone from Geek Fam is you really can't put pressure on the side lanes. Unlike the Claude across from you for Stitch, right? If they somehow extend the game further, that is going to be a winning condition that they could execute. But right now, Burmese Ghouls holding it together ultimately against Geek Fam.
If you saw the damage coming from the Eve right now on Shadow, which is the most tanky person on the side of Team Burmese Ghouls, you will be surprised. But when you look at the itemization, having that glowing one, Nicholas of Durance, Ice Queen, and adding more cooldown to it, I think that Aboy is actually a master when it comes to itemization, because he knows what he's up against. The tanky heroes, he's melting down. The heroes with no mobility, he's making them paralyzed. They cannot move out of the real world manipulation. And setting up for this upcoming fight, I can actually see a wall built by Beloyski and a real world manipulation by a boy. So it's gonna be so hard for Team Burmese Ghouls to execute this upcoming fight.
Well, once again, Lord now gonna be up. Blink still on the top side.
Hey.
Come in anytime with that heart guard. So still, notice how hesitant even Geek Fam is to go ahead and commit to this. Marky does not have the immortality this time around. Nico doesn't as well. They can probably swap in some winter tranches if they want to. But right now, they'll go ahead and start this up. Both teams taking their time with this one. Fourth Lord of the game here.
Super slow push built up top. If you see it right now, Blink X is going to have to deal with that. And Geek Fam trying to posture up, trying to look for an opening, trying to look for a big wild charge combo onto Nico. To give Marky a big play. Spatial migration, not with a Wild Requiem, fading up to another round, but Lord Luke holding it in, looking for the big play. Real world inflation to the back line. Chidera pops in over to nature, and that's into the Wild Requiem, blocking Stitch down. Beloyski finding him with the power of nature. The Winions in the base. Lena takes Beloyski down. A boy with a flicker forward, now chasing Lena. Putting him down. Lena buys the immortality, forced back. And the Burmese Ghouls, they disengage. Lena still going up. What? Lena wants a fight. He'll get a fight, and he'll be taken down. Luckily for him, he does have that passive. He can still come back in.
Buying more time is an actual solution here, because Burmese Ghouls are lacking a lot of damage when it comes to the wave clearance, and if Team Geek Fam use that to their advantage, they can actually finish. Before Stitch even comes back up, they don't need the Lord push. They can just go in with the minions. 10 seconds away, and Burmese Ghouls are not looking good. A team or a full series looks so tempting for Team Geek fam.
Burmese Ghouls waiting a couple seconds here. Stitch should be up, holding on to that one turret. Mid lane, though, the concern.
Oh, look with the penetration. Marky with the facial migration.
Ooh.
Nico getting bursted down. Another round coming down in time, and Lena will now march forward, giving Shadow a little bit more HP with the help of the hard guard, but Shadow gets melted down by the likes of Marky. That was facial migration by Sue, and Geek fam will force it to a game 3.
They extend the series. Geek fam will go to game 5 here ahead of them. Once again, a very strong showing, the back and forth, back and forth. Now it comes down to that one single game ahead of us.
Outstanding, remarkable, stunning, and amazing. These are the terms you can use for such game, and as we all expected, it's going to a full series.
Well, just like yesterday, right? Second series of the day, went to the full series length. And now once again, we have it in store for us here. It's been a heck of a series, man.
And it has. It really has, man. It's so good of a series that I lost count of the games.
Yes, even
Wow.
I for a second. You know, when you do, when you do these 2 series in a day, sometimes you lose track of time. You know.
True.
It's just crazy because it's a 5-game series, but it's so exciting to watch. It's
And so
every single
exciting.
game. There's a lot of back and forth. You know, it's never really truly a dominant game by any one of these teams in any of the games in the series.
And I feel like every single time, there's always been a chance for a comeback here. Who's the MVP? Is it going to be Marky here? Again, it is. Marky, this time, his own form of a redemption on the Guinevere, too. As we talked about it the previous game, I specifically said, you know, I wasn't feeling the Guinevere, but this time, Marky, you did it. 4-3-9, and a great performance from him.
He's sending a message. He is trustworthy for you guys, for the fans of Team Geek fam. He did really good on the Utility Heroes, and he came back with that Guinevere. But look here at the real world manipulation, giving that space to to Geek fam, and giving them this momentum in the early game. As we have said, they are a momentum-based team, and once they have the early game aggression, once they play the aggressive gameplay in the early game, they get into the driver's seat. Here, just buying some time, so this wasn't like one of the hottest moments, but here was the moment where Team Burmese Ghouls were trying their best to defend the base, and they actually came out with 2 kills, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I was mistaken. Anyway, Burmese Ghouls here, and Stitch, the damage output that he was dealing was so much that Team Geek was surprised, and they didn't have any backup plan to go and fall back to. And Team Burmese Ghouls, with this momentum, took the first turret in the mid lane. Not just that, also the secondary one.
Yeah, and as we look, just, you know, when we get to that late game here for this one, still, it was the back and forth, even this.
Wow.
They're able to
Triple.
get multiple kills, and then you see the triple from Nico. It was time and time again for all of these fights where it just unfolded between both of them. But this, too, the fact that they got rid of Stitch really turned the tide, and that's kind of how it happened, right? Both gold laners so crucial, 20-plus minutes in the game, and by then, again, even with Stitch coming up, you aren't able to actually help defend that, right? You don't have the stacks that you need. You can't clear that as much as you want to. So for here, as it unfolded, Geek fam extending the series, love to see the fact, too, that you have this debut pick. Not, you know, we've seen her so much before, the Eve, but it comes out swinging. The real-world manipulation is still a huge threat for a lot of these lineups, a lot of these teams that like to draft this way.
Well, Stitch here having this Purify, it is the best, I would say it is the best spell choice, but how many times can you do the Purify? You have Marky focusing on Stitch all day long, all game long. He was just, his one and only mission was to bring Stitch up in the air and to prevent him from using his blazing duet. He found him multiple times, and some of these times he wasn't able to use the Purify, and even if he used the Purify, sometimes it was late enough that his blazing duet was over, and the aggressive gameplay coming from Burmese Ghouls was cancelled, I would say. It was shut down by Team Geek fam.
this is why I feel that Bruno has been so prio in the series alone, right? Even though, all right, Stitch in game number 3, he was able to win out with the Claude against the Bruno. It just shows you that when you have the Bruno, you have so much of an advantage in the laning phase, most importantly, to get to that snowball point, but even in the ultra late stage. Because even though Stitch can come in from different, a lot of different angles. Protractor. It's still easier to deal damage as a Bruno. You just stay in the back unless you get CC'd, right? But if everything lines up, Bruno is probably the best marksman in the game.
Yeah, that's why it's so priority right now, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the course of M5. And, I wouldn't be surprised if it's either picked up by either of these teams the next game or banned out this time around. Also, the fact that, for Shadow, this time I feel like he got kind of shut down a little bit this time for the Uranus, right? The Daroth pick worked really well here in dealing with that, but then also just the fact that you give a hero to Beloyski where he can initiate some of these setups, these plays. He's very wild, like you mentioned. The wild charge with the Grok just ended up working out really well for the game plan of Geek Fam to get them to this point in the series.
I honestly want to give a big shout out to a boy. Right?
A boy.
Even though I really hate seeing the Eve back again.
Yeah.
Unlike you, Yasso, I'm so bored of seeing the Eves, especially after the whole 2 years of the Eve meta.
I think what you should be bored of is seeing a Fredrin, to be honest, not an Eve.
Oh, we were past that too.
But now we don't see the Fredrin anymore, so we don't talk about that. But despite that, the Eve was phenomenal, man. It really goes to show you what a boy can do on a damage-dealing hero. He was the secondary carry in this game, and you can definitely see it from that damage. 108,000 just dealing damage as a backliner. He didn't need to dive in. He didn't need to do what mid laners do nowadays, the dives.
Nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy. Just stick to the real-world manipulation, stick back, relax, and spam.
I was going to say.
Spam.
Do the spam. Right?
Well, looking at the itemization, I think that, as I told you guys, Iboy was really good in choosing his items. And not just that, Kadira realized that at some point, Lina was dealing a tremendous amount of damage with just 1 second skill that he needed to buy the Athena shield to prevent that burst damage. So well played when it comes to all the itemizations from Team Geek Fam, and also really well executed by both sides, I guess. How many minutes do we have on that? I think it was past 20 easily.
It's about 22 or so, right? But yeah, it's been a crazy series. Can't wait for Game 5. But first, we're going to have to throw it over once again to Mara out there on the stage or with the crowd. Let's see what Mara has to say over there.
Mara, pasok.
Pasok.
I'm here with a nervous pack. None other than Beloyski's family. They're smiling right now, but they're really nervous inside. Everybody, let's let everybody know who you are.
I'm Jed po, brother po ni Beloyski.
Brother.
I'm the sister, Gail.
I'm the mom.
I'm Aaron, cousin of Beloyski.
Cousin.
I am Sam. I'm his brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, oh, the buong family. Wait, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you play ML?
Only him and him.
Oh, you and you. Okay, what rank?
Mythical Glory po.
Mythical Glory, syempre. What rank?
Mythic po.
Do you get to play with Baloy?
Before lang.
Before, but not anymore. Why? Because
Busy na po.
he's really busy. Oh, by the way, when did he come back from the Philippines, from Indonesia?
Last November 20.
November 20th. So he's been here for 3 weeks.
Yes.
3 weeks. So in those 3 weeks, how many times have you had a chance to hang out with him?
Only once during my wedding.
Oh,
Yeah.
just once during your... Congratulations! Congratulations during your wedding. So just once, that's how busy he is preparing.
Yes.
So did he say anything to you before sumabak siya, before he went on to the grand stage?
He cried a lot during my wedding. He missed us so much.
When was the last time you saw him before the wedding?
I think almost 6 months ago.
For 6 months.
Yes.
Okay, so you're the ate.
Yes.
Beloyski is the middle child.
Yes.
And then so you're the bunso. Oh, you're the bunso. Okay. Well, I'm getting confused here. So, you know why? Because you're holding his face. So in my head, you guys resemble each other. So you are the bunso. So Baloyski has been in Indonesia for almost a year and a half?
Yes, almost two years.
2 years, almost 2 years. Mommy, don't you miss Baloy?
I miss him so much.
What do you miss the most about him?
Being caring, always
He is.
telling that he loves me.
You know, he's so sweet. I've
Yes,
worked
that's-
with him, and he's such a sweet guy, and
Yes.
he cares so much about the people around him.
Yes.
I can tell you really took care of him. You really pampered him. Okay, what do you miss about Kuya?
Miss ko na po yung bonding po namin tuwing gabi kasi nagkukwentuhan po kami. Parang ganun po yung daily routine namin before nung magkasama pa po kami sa bahay.
So you miss the bonding because you guys always talk to each other at night, telling stories. You guys share rooms?
Yes po.
So you guys have a really, really, really tight bond. So what about now that he's in Indonesia? Is he still calling you, having conversations with you just like old times because you guys are used to bonding together?
Yes po. Consistent naman po siya nag-chat sa akin and update po sa teams po nila. Yung update po sa kung okay pa po ba sila ng team nila. Ganun. Basta yung banding din po ng team nila na share po nila sa akin.
So he's still constantly talking to you, calling you, letting you know the updates about the team. So you give us an update. You give us an update right now. What is happening with Baloy and with Geek Fam? Is he feeling really nervous? Because now he's in the world stage again. He was there for
M1 and M3.
M1 and M3. I got to see him there for M3. So how is his mindset right now with Geek Fam coming here in the Philippines in the world stage?
Confident naman po si Kuya so far.
Confident. Okay, let's pretend. I'm gonna give this to you. Let's pretend you're the insider, and you're gonna tell everybody the inside scoop that Baloy gave you. Okay?
Sabi po ni Kuya, mananalo daw po sila ngayon sa Burmese Ghouls po.
He said his older brother, told him that they're going to win against Burmese Ghouls. Mommy, I know you really miss him. And he's watching right now, and you said that you guys don't really get to talk to him anymore because he's so busy. So what do you want to tell him right now? What do you want to say that you guys want to do after the tournament, and any message that you want to give to him?
Alan, I know you can make it. You've been here because of N5, because you're good. Yeah, I know you can make it. And your
Ate.
team also can make it.
I'm really proud of you, Allen. Not just because of how you do in the game, but how you are with your teammates and the people around you. You are such an inspiration to us. So, good luck, and win or lose, we are proud of you.
Oh, what's your message to Kuya?
Good luck Kuya, alam kong kayang-kaya niya yan. Manalo matalo, proud po kami sa inyo.
Good luck, older brother. We know you can make it. Win or lose, they're there for you. Pinsan, brother-in-law, again, congratulations.
Len, alam naming gutom ka na. Panalo mo na yan.
Say,
Good luck.
Baloy, he knows you're hungry, so go ahead and win this.
Allen, good luck. See you. Let's eat.
And that's Mommy, what are you gonna cook for him when he wins this after?
Sinigang, his favorite fried chicken.
Fried chicken and sinigang. Baloy, you know it's your time to win this because Mommy will make you sinigang and fried chicken. And let's see what's gonna happen. So we're gonna go back to our casters. Casters, pasok.
Thank you so much, Mara. Great to hear from the family there. Of course, the family of support all around. Speaking of the sinigang, you had it just recently for the first time.
No, I had it back when I came here for MPLP.
Okay, oh, let's pretend.
Let's pretend.
Yeah.
How was it?
It's the best.
You know what people
I love
ask?
it. What?
What kind of sinigang? Because apparently there's multiple.
I got the sweet and sour one. Is
No,
that the other
no.
one?
There's sweet and sour sinigang, but like different protein. So it's either fish, pork. Is there one more? I think there's beef.
If it ain't pork, I ain't having it.
There you go. That's sinigang ng baboy. Something like that.
All right, it's delicious.
Yeah,
It's delicious.
sarapian.
So, sarap yan.
There it is.
if Beloy wins and his family wants to make sinigang, I hope they invite me too. Because I wanna try it again.
There it is. So now we got to get Yasu to try it too. But oh wait, sorry, you can only have the fish.
Yeah, I will take the fish one.
We got to get you the fish sinigang. Now, of course, Game 5 ahead of us. This has been a crazy series, rounding it out to a Game 5. But before that, we want to go ahead and once again welcome everybody to the TikTok drops happening right now and throughout this M5. If you just head over to TikTok, you watch M5 for 5 minutes, you got a chance at getting yourself a TikTok viewer chest. And if you watch longer, 20 minutes, you might win a TikTok deluxe chest. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and give it a try. Good luck to everyone. Now, with that being said, we have to focus in on the last game of the day here, right? Game number 5. Personally,
3 or 5?
3. Well, for you,
5.
3. For us here, 5. I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I love it when we get to this point in these tournaments, the best of 5 series, and I can only hope that whoever ends up in the grand final, man, the best of 7, it has to be a 7-game series, right? Now for this, yes, double elimination. So reminding everybody, whoever loses this, they will go to the lower bracket. Ooh. The winning team will move on forward. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and load up into the draft here for game number 5. We've seen a lot of adjustments. We've talked a lot about changes, priorities here. And we've even seen some debut picks already. 1-1 being banned out, the Khalid taken out as well. Burmese Ghouls will be on the blue with Geek Fam on the red. So what does this mean for our pick of the Bruno?
Well, it means for Burmese Ghouls, they will most likely take it away. There's no way they give it up, right? I mean, knowing that Geek Fam's comfort is that Bruno, they play around the Bruno, they have to get rid of it. If they don't, they've got some cojones.
They do.
Somewhat?
Cojones.
All right. So I actually love when a really interesting series becomes from a best of 5 or a best of 7 down to a best of 1. And here we will see the best being pulled off by both coaches, and not just that, the best performance should be there by both teams. And looking here, Burmese Ghouls, they go again with the Matilda ban and the Khalid. The Khalid, I think he was banned also all over the 5 games. And the one when and the Joy, if I'm not mistaken, also an Angela sometimes. But this one, we go with the Lilia. Okay, so we have said a fun fact before we go into the game. And that was, in the M5, we have witnessed 70 different heroes. The last game, adding the E, that's a 71. So we are 1 hero away from matching with the M4, right?
Yes.
Was she 70 or 71?
It was 70. That pick was 70. So we're 2 picks away.
All right, 2 picks away.
Well, here's a pick that has constantly popped up. Bruno, first pick, Burmese Ghouls.
Popped up a bit too many times, right? But the Guinevere still going to be picked up. And also a signature pick for BBB. This is the big brain pick.
The big brain.
The pick that enables the big brain plays.
If I'm not mistaken, Burmese Ghouls, they are the ones who used the Ruby so far. So this is the first time Beloyski gets the Ruby, right? In the best of 5. In this best of 5, I mean.
Yeah. Fairness and the glue. They take away the counter and the countered.
The poison and the antidote.
Yes.
The poison and the antidote. And then, there it is, Claude. So it's a Bruno versus Claude matchup once again. And with this, I'm sitting here kind of wondering, right? How do you round this out? XP lanes. You've already got a glue across from you.
All right.
So we can kind of expect at least one of those bans being taken out for Burmese Ghouls towards Geek Fam in the XP lane.
Yeah, I'm expecting a Terizla here to be banned out.
Yeah,
definitely by the Burmese Ghouls. Not only is it good against, obviously, the Faramis and the Bruno, but it's amazing in lane against the glue. One of the matchups that actually dominates against the glue.
I love that they took the Faramis too, by the way.
Yeah, it's really great. Especially understanding now that Geek Fam didn't pick a mid laner, they can opt to go 2 different routes. They can try to ban a boy out again, which didn't work in game number 4, but they can try to do it again. Or now, they focus on Luke. They tried Chidera, Marky. No, Marky first, Chidera, a boy, and now maybe Luke.
Might as well. Focus on each one, different games. Yes, Yasu, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, yeah, of course we will see a Terizla here by the side of Team Burmese Ghouls, but for Team Geek Fam, I was actually like why don't we go with an Arlott? Or why don't we ban a Diggy and then add upon that more crowd control? Because the setup is really good. They go with the Angela though, but the setup is really good for the Claude so far. They just need to add one more area crowd control and that's it. At least for me.
You know, I haven't really... For some reason, when you mentioned the Arlott, I was just thinking about this interaction, right? Like, what if you final slash all the split glues into the wrong direction and the stacks just... You know, I don't know if it actually works like that, if it would just automatically allow you to, you know, have all those stacks. But still, I feel like even if you talk about Arlott, you know, for this lineup of Burmese Ghouls, right? It could work in their favor, but I feel like at the same time, if you're matching up against a Ruby, I feel like it's almost too much risk. For me, at least personally, like I would rather see them have something that's more tankier naturally. The Arlott's okay. Arlott's going to Geek Fam though.
I said it for Geek Fam.
Yeah, but I'm thinking for Burmese Ghouls, right? Like if they actually wanted to go an Arlott, but it's on the flip side, so it goes over to Geek Fam.
I think it's a good choice by Geek Fam here. For the side of Burmese Ghouls, they're most likely going to be grouped up together, so the Arlott final slash will deal a whole lot in. That's a Tigreal.
Tigreal.
And a Martis. A Martis pick. Anti-CC.
Eve
Martis.
Eve again?
He would make sense, right? I mean, real world manipulation, anti-CC, but then you get dove on by a Martis with Netherrealm, and then what?
Especially the fact that, you know, Lilia's already taken out Bandhouse, so what does this leave here?
You know what would be crazy?
Yes.
A Lunox would be insane. Right? But it does what it does what the composition needs. You can lock people down, burst them down instantly, and you also have some abilities that makes you go invulnerable.
Let's see what comes out of the head of the Shadow.
The Shadow. Oh, man.
The Shadow.
It has to be something safe, right? Because they already have the right components here. They can just play it safe and pick a very safe mid laner like the Eve, and then play normally. But they could go for the risky route, and they didn't take out. They want what works.
Yasu.
Yes,
You're
I
kind
got
of
what I
on
want.
point here.
Yeah.
Yasu.
99.9.
99.9, leaving just 0.01 for doubts. We can see that, I would say that this draft for team, was it Geek? Yeah, Geek. Geek Fam, they have the area crowd control, they have the operation area, as I like to say it in Arabic, because when Eve just opens her ultimate, it's just pure, it's like when you do a surgery.
Yeah.
So having this Eve ultimate there and also the crowd control underneath and not just the add upon the blazing dodge from the Claude, I think that everything aligns really good for Team Geek, but yet the draft on the side of Team Burmese Ghouls is as good.
Well, we're going to find out once again, loading up into the land of Dawn for the last time today. In game number 5 here, it's come down to a best of 1 between Geek Fam and Burmese Ghouls. Who will go on forward in the upper bracket? Who will be sent to the lower bracket? We will find out here. A lot of early aggression.
Don't worry, it's a signature. If you die 7, they'll win the game.
This is the one.
He needs to be triggered. He needs someone to rotate him and to make him feed at some point so he can come back and be as effective as the Beloyski effect that we have been used to see. But Stitch here using the Bruno up against the Claw. This is a matchup that we have seen a lot of times, but again, we see that both of them go for a little bit of a tanky approach because they want to take care of themselves in the early game. But looking here at the Martis, which is actually quite interesting to me, he's going for a penetration, he's going for damage. He's not, like, doesn't he know like the Martis new meta is the utility one?
Stitch.
He probably does know, but he wants to go for the riskier, more snowbally type build. Geek Fam trying to do the same thing, but with the Claude. Going aggressive now as Beloyski is able to cancel out a dash. Nico with the Retribution slows him down. Beloyski flickers out to safety from the Mortal Coil. And it's still 0-0.
Okay, he'll be fine. One thing I also noticed there from the emblems was Lina's trying to pack some of that damage early on. He has weapon mastery, he has a rupture, he has that penetration, right? Providing some of that early poke, early damage with a Faramis. at least for now, is kind of what they want to play around with, right? Playing into the fact that, okay, we're not going to have crazy amounts of damage early on, but we can scale up pretty well. That's what they're going to be hoping for, especially the fact that a lot of these fights, you're going to have to wait for that RWM, that real-world manipulation, to be utilized and not want to fight completely into it, right? Especially the fact that this is a combination we've seen so much. Eve, Ruby, pulling them into that real-world manipulation early on already.
Oh, Marky.
Requiem in the mid lane, Blinks going to get chunked really low. Forced to use the regen as Malloy dashes forward, gets level 4. I'm Bandit ready.
Yeah, Luke also getting in position here. Still, first turtle of the game.
Last time fast pass, implosion, Flicker combo coming down with the final slash, cancels it out. And now it's gonna be the Bandit bringing Blink X back into. Whoa, the damage coming down all to the other side of the map. It's gonna be Geek Fam completely wiped out. All 3 of their members falling to Nico with that triple kill, the Rupture and the Assassin Emblem doing work.
This is the scary thing of the Martise. That Decimate. And the fact that now you got 3 kills. You got the triple here this early on, plus the turtle.
You cannot match that. You cannot match that anytime soon in the game. Beloyski, does he have a flicker? Yeah, he does have a flicker. If he doesn't have a flicker at this given moment, it was just adding one more body to the bodies that Nico have collected so far. Stitch, he have a really good damage at this point, and Burmese Ghouls are focusing on that top lane. It might be a death push. They might need to take someone, but they need them to step into the bush.
Okay, focus here.
Oh, whoa.
Defended though. Blink should be fine though. Implosion.
Bringing Beloyski back. Tough Boots gets him out in time. Airborne now, knocked up. No further engage, but a boy has rotated. Marky with the steal. The invade in the enemy jungle, trying to mirror the movement from the side of Nico. Meanwhile, Shadow here opens it up, knows where Marky's at.
Okay, so things fall into place here in Yasu.
Yes.
Small lead for Burmese Ghouls. Item check though, real quickly.
Item check. I would say that having this steel leg pants against the Bruno is a really smart choice by Kadera, but also having the Molten Essence by the Guinevere is also a smart choice because you will not be able to deal any amount of damage. It's all about the crowd control, so why not just when you are near the enemy troops to have this damage that comes with the item called the Molten Essence. So really good itemization so far from Geek Fam. We will get into it more once we get into the game itself, because so far the core items, the DHS, the Demon Hunter Sword by Kadera is being picked up, and also he has some defense. So far we will see, or like not so far, we will see from now on Kadera using his Blazing Duet.
Once again, the jump ins through. Second turtle. The battle for it going to be set up here. Shadow though, quite low. Stitch also.
Very low. Pops in a split, still able to dish out some damage right now onto the back. Nico finding the mortar coil, and now he's getting Marky with the Battle Requiem in desperation. Now the realm coming down. Luke able to use the Vengeance, but it's still going to be mounted by Shadow. And Nico should be able to find a Decimate. Once he finds it, everybody needs to start running. A boy brought back another.
Wow.
Nico, is he going to go for more? Running into the enemy jungle. Beloyski brought back by the mortar coil. One last hit. Should be what's left to take Beloyski down, but he's able to get out of that range just barely. The Burmese Ghouls. Snowball after snowball, fight after fight.
This is like the best start you can have here on a Martis pick, right? For any team. Martis, he's on top.
He is on top, and having that damage build right now, I don't know if it makes so much sense or if it was...
I'm offended. Flicker by Beloyski. Gets Shadera the kill. A Blazing Duet committed as well, and this is what Geek Fam needs to do. They need to try to look for plan B.
Even though they are 5 kills to 2, Geek Fam, but they are still not far in goals.
You're right. How is that?
Well, they're just kind of controlling, you know, a lot of this farming potential. As in just a second, we'll probably look at the breakdowns as well. But for the most part, you know, Shadera's done a good job at getting that extra gold from the plate here, working his way on really kind of solidifying that. There's the golden, right? Look at his, look at the gold for Shadera.
Yeah, he does know how to farm. This guy knows how to farm. Having 4.4k so far, even though his team is so pressured in the mid and the bot lane. And not just that, do not forget that the mid lane burst turret is down for Team Burmese Ghouls.
Nico's got to be careful though, right? Even though he has 5 kills, he's still very much killable. Conceal coming down. looking for a pinch down. But Geek Fam are playing it really well in this choke point with the help of a boy. Ooh, Shadow, that slam pass might get him into trouble. Pops in a split, and even another realm has been committed down to escape. They get a tier 1 in the bottom side of the map, and now they transition over to the third and final turtle of the game.
See if Burmese Ghouls can still secure themselves the third turtle of the game here. Different course of action from what we've seen throughout the series, but so far, it even looks like Geek Fam is willing to fight for this. Both gold laners still on the bottom side, so it's going to be a 4 versus 4. How they play this one out. Blink, taking a couple shots. Conceal.
I'm offended with it as well, and a boy finds the kill. Remember, no Nether Realm earlier, already baited out. Beloyski flickers out. Shadow, slam, pass onto Luke. Stitch coming down as well, rotating a bit faster. Then Chidera now with the worldie, bouncing back and forth. Shadow trying to look for another immobility. Onto the side, split coming down. Marky, Requiem to cancel it out. Now Spatial Migration is on final slash, sweeping them into the turret. Nico gets one, but he has to run away as Chidera finds a tier 1 down below.
Geek Fam still finding wins here and there where they can. Meanwhile, Chidera just going to continue to farm up.
Blazing away.
Oh, Chidera.
On to Stitch, 1 HP. Blink X trying to rotate fast enough. Stitch gets out.
Down to dodge, just fine. Burmese Ghouls though.
Oh, Marky wants to steal.
Marky away. Oh, shoved back. No, Marky, no, says Blink X.
Yep.
Blink X. Look, Team Burmese Ghouls so far, even though they have the kills in their favor, but Team Geek Fam seems to find every way possible, and especially, I would say, Chidera, because he doesn't only have the DHS, he also have the golden staff, so he have the same amount of damage, or maybe even more than the one that Bruno can deal. Not just that, look at Mortis. He's not only going for a damage emblem, or like a damage perspective when it comes to emblem, he also have a semi-tanky build having this Hunter Strike. So far Burmese Ghouls are approaching a really, I would say, an interesting approach from them. But again, Team Geek Fam knows how to farm and knows how to execute their damage.
Yeah, Nico at this point, even the fact that he has the six kills, he has to kind of be defensive as well, right?
Oh,
look at the setup there, Blink.
With Marky as well, finds a spatial migration into the Requiem, and that's going to be enough to bait out another round. But Chidera dives in deep onto Stitch to find a blazing duet. Nico goes godlike, but now gets poked down. This might be the biggest shutdown, and it's going to the hands of Luke. Lina running away, but gets caught as well. Geek Fam have turned around the entire lead that the Burmese Ghouls have built the past 9 minutes.
Geek Fam coming out swinging in a decisive manner once again, and now the tables have turned as they take down the tier 1 in the mid. Still gonna focus down a little bit more. Marky gonna get out just fine with the spatial migration. But what a turn of events here for Geek Fam.
It is a turn of events, indeed, but I would say that Team Geek Fam were playing in the shadows. They were there since the start. Team Geek Fam, look at the gold earned by Chidera, not just Chidera, also Luke. As I told you guys, when Luke uses the olive in the way it's supposed to be, not just distract the enemies, but also apply some crowd control underneath that real world manipulation, and not just that, add upon it the damage coming from the blazing duet. It's a match in heaven when it comes to the build. And look at Chidera right now, 8k gold, having everything he needs. He just needs to add one more damage item and he can melt Burmese Ghouls down.
And going back to it, Geek Fam, let him cook. That's exactly what happened. They've reached this point in the game. First Lord now up. Nico, even with a lead that he had early on, he's having a difficult time trying to find the positioning here.
Shadow. Purify instantly by Chidera. Kiting back. Shadow. Split. Pretty desperate here. He dives in deep. He's all alone. He's isolated. He has to be very, very careful here. Going to be chased down by Chidera, who finds all the stacks with
Conceal.
Implosion onto 3! But the real world inflation comes out as well. Marky being able to pop in that Requiem in the midst of it all, but now falls at a decimate. Chidera with a blazing duet, and I'm offended from Baloy to pull them back into the blazing duet. And now it's Shadow who's running for the hills. Luke finding the final slash in the CC and a chain. Lina down. Geek Fam has wiped the Burmese Ghouls out.
My goodness. What a team fight choreographed for Geek Fam. And they're going to cap it off with a Lord here. They are just everywhere and more.
And Lina again brought back one more hit, should do it. Luke dives in, and our boy is on a killing spree.
Oh my god, what was that, Geek fam? Geek fam are just finding every perfect spot. It's like a painting. It's like a painting. It's a work of art coming from the Indonesian Giants here, flipping everything around, having the goal lead of 6K goal lead after they were behind in terms of goal. Look at Marky now. Team Geek.
Yeah.
Team Geek are in the zone.
They've reached that point of the game now, Geek fam. Very far ahead, confident the way they're moving too. First Lord, though, making its way down the mid. We'll see how they play this through. Burmese Ghouls, they have the tools they need to defend this one. Again, it is only the First Lord. How will they approach this, keeping things together here?
It's gonna be hard.
Conceal already gonna be used. Turn in the mid lane, gonna go down now. The focus on the bottom. Geek fam, massive lead here. What is Burmese Ghouls to do in this defense? They still gotta work it on. Stitch, even with this Bruno pick, having a difficult time making it work. We'll see once again, Geek fam.
Implosion on the 3. Geek fam gonna be able to escape right now. Assassin this migration and the final slash to break the back once again. The blazing away from Chidera, doing a lot of damage right now. And that's gonna be the slap pass, but Chidera is able to pop that BMI in time. Luke dives in, Vengeance 1, coming down, getting another Shadow with a split. Trying to sustain back up, but Chidera's clearing out the way just as fast. The base wide open, Chidera targeting it down, despite the change of roster. Once you're a geek, you're always a fam, and they have done it. 3-2, moving past to the next stage in the upper brackets.
Some might have doubted the changes, but Geek fam proves the point, moves on to the upper bracket. In a great series against the Burmese Ghouls, all 5 games back and forth, but they end it quickly for game 5.
I need some time to process this. I need some time to process this. This was one of the most intense series so far in the M5 World Championship. Both of these teams have pulled off a really good fight, and also not just the players, also the coaches. This was a work of art.
Again, as both teams show the sportsmanship, an amazing series. But let's go ahead, throw it over to the stage with Mara to hear for Geek Fam's interview.
Congratulations to Geek Fam! Let's give him a round of applause. Wow, you guys survived that. First of all, what is it? A lot of people are screaming over there. What is it about Game 5 that you guys love so much? Because even back in MPL ID, you guys are always going all the way up to Game 5.
Because our team don't want to win easy. We want excitement, I think.
You want excitement.
Just kidding, but yeah, I don't know why our team always need to wait that we are losing to perform better. But maybe next time, I hope we perform fast.
But it does make everything exciting.
Yeah.
Now this
it's for the views.
It's for the views. It's for the views. The Indonesians love it. Now this one is for Marky. Marky! Uy! Okay. First time with Geek Fam that you played as a jungler. Okay, how was that role? How was that role today? How did you like it?
Alam mo tinutulungan lang nila ako
Okay.
Basta ginagawa ko lang yung trabaho ko.
They're helping you, and as long as you're doing your work. Yes, that's right. Put your hands in your pocket. Let's not risk anything. Okay? Now, go ahead.
Hindi naman daw siya tatawagin the solution kung hindi sosolusyonin yung problema.
He won't be called the solution if he won't find a solution to the problem.
Chamba lang po yun, chamba lang.
Chamba lang. Oh,
binubuhat nila ako
That's not a fluke,
Tagaharap lang ako,
Marky.
tagaharap, tagatangke.
So, what would you say is your favorite jungler hero so far?
Alam mo?
Your jungler hero, your favorite jungle hero? Out of all that you used?
Pani.
Oh, yeah?
Pani, walang second skill po.
Pani without a second skill. Okay. If you were given a choice, okay, would you want to stay as a jungler let's say your friend is suspended for 1,000 years. Okay, would you want to stay as a jungler or do you still want to be a gold laner?
I don't want jungler anymore. If I jungler, I want to die.
Okay, let's rate his performance as a jungler. I want to hear you. Out of 10, what would you rate his jungling skills? Out of 10. Out of 10.
100 peso.
100 pesos. Okay, out of 10. 0 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Your turn. Rate.
Same, 1,000 peso.
1,000 pesos! Pataas ng pataas. Oh, how would you rate him?
Mas magaling po ako mag-jungler nung trinay namin ano lang, 2.
Okay, Baloy says, they tried it and Baloy was a better jungler. So he would have to rate at 2. Eh, ba't di kayo nag-jungle? Why didn't you jungle?
Baka po mabilis yung laro Di ba para sa views? Yung ano.
Okay, so he didn't choose to be a jungler, so the game won't be fast because we need higher views. That's what he said. Okay, what would you rate?
Better than Nile, I think.
Better?
Yeah, better than
Oh, okay. Okay, you make sure that's how I like it. You make sure your hands are in your pockets. Now, it was such a great fight that both teams were refusing to back down. What does this victory mean for you guys? Anong halaga?
So important because one more penalty for Nile we already can play. So it's so good for us. Thank you, Lord, for making this happen. It seems impossible, but you'll guide us. Yeah, thank you.
You denied Burmese Ghouls the opportunity to meet AP Bren. Instead, you're going to be going up against such a powerhouse. Okay, so how was that? What are you guys thinking about meeting AP Bren?
Kay Kyle TC po, maganda siguro siya kay Marky. Joke lang.
Kay Cal TZ, maganda siguro?
Kay Marky.
Kay Marky! Marky against Cal TZ? Oh, what are you gonna say?
Ka-assassin na si Marky, pagkalaban Bren.
You're gonna do assassin?
Kyle, mamaya sa may pasok tayo mamaya, diba nila lap. Mamaya, pipilayan ko na kayo pag nakita tayo.
Pipilayin?
Pipilayan ko na sa personal para di na makalaro.
Pipilayin! Okay. He's saying to Kyle that they're gonna see each other later.
Di ko kaya yun, di ko kaya si Kyle
You don't think you can manage Kyle?
Pilayan ko na lang siguro.
So, pipilayan where? You're gonna break his leg or you're gonna break his arm? You're gonna break his hands.
One hand.
You're gonna shake hands, but you're gonna squeeze it hard. Okay, now Baloyski, your family, your entire family's here. They said they've only seen you once since you came back here. In 6 months, they've only seen you once. And your mom said that when you win this entire thing later, you're gonna get fried chicken and your favorite sinigang. Okay, any other request?
Wala po, thank you lang. Sa totoo lang, nung nakita ko yung interview nila, naging emotional talaga ako. Para sa kanila to talaga yung game na to.
Oh, he got emotional when he saw their interview. So this win is for them. Last message to the fans.
Sa lahat po ng sumusuporta nandito sa venue, salamat po. Hindi po namin in-expect na madami kayo. Thank you talaga. Na-appreciate namin kayo. Hindi nyo lang alam gaano ka namin kayo na-appreciate. Thank you guys. See you sa next na laban.
They appreciate all the support. They didn't expect this much fans to come to them, to come and support them. And it means so much to them that you guys are all here. Once again, everybody, let's give Geek Fam a round of applause. Congratulations, you're moving on to the upper bracket semis. And now we're gonna break that game down for you. So we're gonna go back to our casters. Casters, pasok.
Thank you so much, Maran. Again, congratulations to Geek Fam there. And even Burmese Ghouls, man, they should hold their heads high because they still have another shot in the lower bracket. And this was an amazing series. I know a lot of you guys here watching EVM enjoyed this 5-game series. We love to see it, even if it's double elimination, man. So who's to say what's in store for us ahead of us in the days? But
so hard.
They're gonna play against AP Bren.
Yeah.
Another tough road ahead, right? You beat Burmese Ghouls, it's only fate that you get to meet AP Bren next. They always come hand in hand, just like Luke and big plays.
This guy was skywalking.
This guy was tired. Okay.
Get
he
it?
was.
Because he's Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the final
like the
slash.
thing from Star Trek?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so looking here at the MVP of the game, you will see that Luke was he wasn't just the silent MVP, he was screaming out loud. He was the MVP of the match. 5-2-9, having a really good approach when it comes to the emblem in terms of the tanky ones, and also going for a full tanky set when it comes to the in-game equipment itself. But let's have a look here at what happened, what went down between Team Geek Fam and also Team Burmese Ghouls. They were doing really good. A-Boy was doing really great at that team fight, but yet Nico with the damage in the early game, having that decimate, having the Mortis, when it comes to the retribution, he was able to take up a triple kill. Luke with a flicker final slash, always he was able to land it on 2 targets, I would say at least, and that was a turning point for Team Geek to always come back on top when it comes to team fights. Luke here doing all the work underneath, but also having Chadera to swipe out all the members of Team Burmese Ghouls. This was one of the moments where I thought that I would actually see a wipe out for Team Burmese Ghouls, but then comes Chadera with the damage he was building up until this moment, and Beloyski give you a Beloyski special and takes 2 members, maybe even 3 members into this I'm Offended. And right now we see the first wiped out of the game, and again we will see a good, not a solid defense though, because he found his way through. Luke with a final slash taking 2 members away, and this was the moment where Team Geek Fam saw the base wide open and they went in for the approach.
I love this too. I love the interaction between that lineup from Geek Fam. You know, we kind of hinted on it a little bit in the draft too. Yasu, you pointed it out, right? Eve, you have the Ruby, and then you have Arlott. You have so many tools to either put people in the real world manipulation or keep them there or start the fight, peel if you need to, but again, the way things kind of unfolded here for Geek Fam, it was really well executed, and the draft just worked so well against what Burmese Ghouls decided to bring to the table.
And also, if you looked at this gold difference, even though Geek Fam was behind with almost, I can't remember, it was 3K to 5K at some point, they managed to finish high. They managed to finish with a 10K gold lead in their favor. And Kadira, look at his score right now and look at his gold. He was able to find all the necessary gold to collect from the top lane, from the mid lane, from wherever he found a jungle.
Again, just looking at things kind of unfold here. Interesting game 5. But it's like Geek Fam was just like, hey, we've learned from these 4 games. We're ready to just end it with a bang here.
And it just comes down to the same thing, right? Chadera getting his hands on a comfort pick. When it's not banned out completely, even if it's not the Bruno, he basically proves that he's up there, man. It wasn't because he's bad that he was benched. It was because maybe Marky played it a bit better, or the team's synergy was just better with Marky. But now with Marky and Chadera, I know Luke meant it as a joke, but Niall's got to be careful. His replacement is doing a very good job.
Hey, if you guys, I guess Mara translated too. We know how Marky feels about the matchup against Kyle Teasy, right? He knows what to do before that ends up happening.
Careful,
again.
Kyle.
Yeah, careful, Kyle Teasy, because Marky's ready for you, right? That's what he's basically saying.
He finds a solution. Remember, always, whatever it takes, he finds a solution.
Whatever it takes, he's ready. But again, I have to say, over the course of those 5 games, you kind of saw that development, right, of Geek Fam alone. Like, the struggle that they had a little bit, Marky trying to find his footing. Yes, he went for those utility junglers. He played a little bit with some assassin, went to Guinevere, didn't work out so well the first time, and then pops off even this time. So, you know, the whole training arc that they had, you know, so to speak, for these 5 games was very apparent for Geek Fam. And, you know, it's nice to see them because, again, both these teams, where they ended up, how they ended up here in the knockout stage is a story in itself. And they're off to a great start, both of them. Again, Burmese Ghouls, they still have a chance to fight it out in the lower brackets and maybe eventually work their way up.
Yeah, they can actually work their way up. And we have seen a lot of stories where someone being sent down, I think Blacklist was one of them. They were sent down at the M3, if I'm not mistaken, and then they went all the way up through and take the championship.
That's actually true, right?
Right?
Their journey in MPL Indonesia was a Cinderella story. And hey, even though I don't want to curse it,
don't say
I would love to believe in it.
That you can leave it at that, right? You can believe in it. Yasu can dream things, and I'm just here.
You're just existing, bro.
Absorb it.
I'm here
To
to
observe.
Exist.
Yeah, I'm just here. You know,
Yeah.
like the building I am. So
Nice to the building, Rezbek.
that's